strong winter here in the heart of New England, and the Arute family is about ready to kick off the festivities for the SK Modified, Stafford's own open wheel modified division. Two of the toughest competitors in the field will be making up row number one. Willie Hardy with car number 7, Ted Christopher alongside. Now, Matt, this is a whole different setup than we've seen in the past. Usually the fast cars start in the rear here at Stafford, but because of extreme weather conditions on this Spring Sizzler weekend, they were forced to take a combination of the times during the test sessions in order to determine the starting lineup.
And Ted Christopher was very fast in practice, along with a man alongside him, Willie Hardy in car number 7.
Row number 2, just as impressive, Jeff Burrill and Frank Rocco. They head off turn number 4. The fans are ready. They're waving. We're going racing here at the Stafford Speedway. Down into turn number 1. They zigzag down to the bottom of the racetrack, but it's Hardy in command. Battle already for the runner-up spot down the back straightaway. Here comes Savali. Trouble to the inside.
And it didn't take long. Dave Salzarullo in car number 53 and 78, the rookie driver, Keith Rocco, in trouble at the rear of the field.
Caution flag comes out of the field with only one lap showing. We're back under yellow in this SK Modified event. Field is set, looking for the initial start. Remember, they brought the field back again. No laps into the record books. Willie Hardy to the inside of your screen. To the outside is Ted Christopher. Christopher to the advantage on the top end. Down into turn number 1. Look a little further back in that front pack of cars. You'll see James Savali working his way to the front. Savali is boxed in. There's the blue car number 18, and that is Burrill, setting in the 3rd spot. A gaggle of cars will follow.
And the black car, Agor, right behind the 29. Ted Christopher out to the early lead. I guess it took him less than a lap to figure out the outside groove.
Car number 99 goes spinning through the infield. That is Kurt Zervis' machine. We're still green and racing. Down the back straightaway, Rocco has moved into the 5th spot with a blue number 97. Keep your eyes on the number 47 car. White and neon numeral car that has now worked its way to contend among the top 6 cars. Challenge for the lead.
Willie Hardy trying to make a bid on the bottom against Christopher, and the 13 car is able to easily hold him off. Christopher
guards the inside lane. Hardy pulls back in the line. There's the white car behind the blue car of Rocco, the 91. Then it's the white 47. That is Donnie Liam making his Stafford SK debut. Off the turn, Hardy tries it again. Neon and black, number 7. Can't do it this time, Matt. Look at Savali testing the waters. The red and yellow 29.
And right behind him, Frank Rocco in the blue 97 car, rounding out the top 5. Savali, for someone as young as he really is a patient driver, as Hardy is going to test Christopher again.
Christopher knows he's there, but Hardy pulls it back into formation. This is the old cat and mouse game at a maximum test as they come off the turn. That time, Christopher slipped up just a bit, Matt.
Hardy getting him a little loose coming off turn 4, but Christopher able to control. And there's Jeff Burrell wrecked in the turn 1 guardrail.
Jeff Burrill, who is running among the top 3 cars. Heavy damage done to the front of car number 18. So the caution comes out with 5 laps into the record books. We're back to go racing here with 5 laps up on the Dodge Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. Off turn number 4, picture perfect start. Matt, it is Christopher to the advantage on the inside. Look at Willie Hardy. Right there with him is Rocco. They touch.
Yeah, Rocco, a little twitch, and there's the 47 Aaliyah spinning around. Cello caught up in the incident. So the 47 Aaliyah that we just talked about gets his baptism to SK Modified Racing at Stafford.
A left rear tire is down on the Whiz Tablets machine for Donnie Leah. So the caution flag comes out on the field. We're in a holding pattern on lap number 5.
3 cautions, and we've only run 5 laps. Lloyd Agor headed back onto pit row in car number 22.
So with 5 of the 40 laps now complete, the complexion has changed at the bottom of the top 5. Pretty much for positions 1 and 2, they have been contending but very cautious. Lloyd Agor is down on pit road, and there is Donnie Leah with the number 47 car. Left flat rear tire is the story on that car. And they are working to change that left rear as we speak. He'll be back there with pretty good company. James Savali will also be back there.
Yeah, this is a type of racing that Donnie Leah is not used to lately. Normally in a 200 lap modified race, he can take his time and pace himself, but now he is really going to have to be fired up for the remaining 35 laps of this one. And they change the tire, and he heads back out onto the speedway. You know, Mike Holdridge currently is up in the upper echelon of this field as we go down to pit road.
Mark, come back. Well, guys, down here on pit road right now, the crew looking over Lloyd Agar's car, number 22, working primarily on the right front of the 22 machine. He kind of got pushed into Donnie Leah. Leah was just in just a left rear flat tire. Crew went over the wall, made the quick change, but probably bigger trouble for Woody Pitcat in the 81 car as the tie rod has come loose of the right front. The crew scrambling over the wall into the pit box, trying to get that car back together, but Woody up in the jack. He looks despondent in the race car as that's the happenings right now as we are still early in the 40-lap SK feature event.
You know, Ben, one driver in fourth place right now, Chris Hasella, in the red 6 car. He has said that the Spring Sizzler has always been his nemesis. He has never raced well in this race. He's had tough luck here, but right now he's looking pretty good in fourth place alongside Frank Rocco.
Woody Pitcat's number 81 car is down on pit road. They're working on the right front suspension of that race car. Ted Christopher, he's done this so many times before. Willie Hardy is a crafty veteran on the outside. And for only 5 laps in the record books, Matt, Willie Hardy really was testing the waters. Teddy Christopher doesn't like to play in the water. He likes to just dive into the sport off the diving board. Let's see what's going to happen as they dive to the line with Ted Christopher in command.
Well, he did a Greg Louganis right there as he just left Hardy out to dry. And there goes Hardy on the inside to take over the lead.
And the fans love it. They're jumping up and down in their seats. 5 laps into the record books. Lap number 6 when they come to the line. Willie Hardy, short-lived at the point. Here comes TC, Ted Christopher. Hardy bounces off the wall.
And cars get caught in behind him.
A melee down the front straightaway.
The 8 of Doug Colby just missing the 7 of Willie Hardy.
Donnie Leah, James Savali all squeak by, but the car that has suffered the most damage is Willie Hardy's. Number 7 went to the lead on the restart. Got really bold and aggressive in the outside. Came off the turn. Scuffed the wall with the right side rubber. Came back across the racetrack. And the fans are not pleased with Ted Christopher. They're letting him be well aware of the fact that they think he might have had something to do it. It looked completely different from our viewpoint on our screen here at Television Central.
But the one thing we do know, Willie Hardy went up against the wall. We did not see contact on our screen.
Heartbreaker, though, for other competitors, including car number 9, for Brad Heitella out of Ellington, Connecticut. Brad is a veteran that builds his own race cars, and he was very confident going into this event about that race car. There's the Willie Hardy machine. It is literally hit on all sides. Right front wheel, right rear, and left rear. Hardy is getting out of the race car.
Now, the damage on the left rear was not suffered when he hit the wall. It's when he came back out of the track and another car with no place to go ran into the rear of him.
So Willie Hardy looks to come back onto the racing surface itself as car number 7 being hitched up by the wrecker. Another car that was involved further in the infield area was the 73 of Glenn Griswold. And Willie Hardy is heading back to his pit location.
Also Dave Salzarullo, the 53 car, involved in that incident, tangling up with Brad Heitella.
So Hardy making it known to Teddy Christopher that he is not too pleased by what occurred on the racetrack itself.
You know, Willie Hardy has won in the past on Spring Sizzler Sunday, but today just the flip side is true, as he lasted for 5 laps until he got into the front stretch wall.
Well, Brad Heitella taking that long, dejected walk back to his pit stall with car number 9. So he was just a victim of circumstances, Matt. He had absolutely nowhere to go. At one point, from our vantage point here, it appeared that the front straightaway was literally completely closed and blocked up. Here, let's take another look at it, looking at the Diamond Vision screen. Off the turn. Well, you decide in that one.
And there's Brad Hightower, no place to go, going into the back of the Willie Hardy car. Now, Willie Hardy had trouble keeping up with Christopher on those outside restarts until the last one, when he seemed to have it figured it out. Let's see what Frank Rocco does.
To the inside, Chris Sano, row number 2, and then it is Jeff Malave also coming to the front as the cream rises to the top. Down into turn number 1, trouble. Rocco goes in at a ton.
Acela involved, Malave.
Todd Owen and the number 78 machine.
The rookie driver, Keith Rocco, also a part of that incident.
So lap number 5 is a tough lap to get over, as we now see the number 97 car. And Jeff Malave, I think Jeff Malave had no place to go in that altercation down in turn number 1. That's the Davidson Company's car. And now it appears that Frank Rocco is able to pull away. But for Jeff Malave, it doesn't appear that he is going to be able to do that. Severe damage done to the right side of the race car. Let's take another look at it. Down the front straightaway. Rocco starts to come down. Chris Acela is there. And just as we predicted, Jeff Malave had no place to go. He's wedged to the outside wall. Todd Owen, also a victim of circumstances. And Keith Rocco did his best to avoid all of this. So just another one of those difficult racing calls. Off turn number 4, Sean Houlihan looks the field over from the starter stand. NASCAR Central about to make him aware if the start is good, and it is. Holdridge to the advantage, outside, down in turn 1. Holdridge drifts up the hill just a bit. Here comes Christopher back to command.
Well, that was great anticipation of the start by Holdridge, but Christopher might have taken him about 3/4 of a lap. But he has his lead back, a little bump between himself and the Holdridge car.
Burt gets bumped around a bit with the 54 car, and back to contend towards the front of the field. Here comes the Cannonball. Running to the outside. They're almost 3 wide there, Matt, as Todd Owen sets in the 4th spot.
Cannonball can't get any bite on the outside, so Todd Owen takes over the spot in car number 90, and Savali, who started dead last, remember, on lap 5, in 2 laps has worked his way into contention.
James Savali is a young kid with a mission. He's coming back to the field, to the front of this field with a vengeance, setting back in position number 5. He'll now move to the inside of Eric Byrne, give position number 4 to the red and yellow number 29. It is Savali to pick up yet another spot.
The name of the game so far, Ben, is to keep your car as close to the white line as possible. If you drift up high, you could get passed by, and that's what happened to Eric Burt.
Meanwhile, Savali still sets back in the 4th spot. Todd Owens guards the inside lane, tries to get a wheel down underneath Holdridge for a second. Can't do it this time. Down to the bottom of turn 1.
Todd Owen, one of the more patient drivers in the SK Modified division, but he is sandwiched by a couple good competitors. Mike Holdridge is in the 28 in front of him, and now Savali trying to go around him.
Savali running on rails, goes to the outside. He'll challenge in position number 3. Now he looks his way to the outside. It is James Savali trying to take over position number 2. 4 cars under a blanket off turn 2.
One of the few drivers that has been able to make his car look good on the outside, James Savali. He is starting to pester the 28 of Mike Holdridge.
And with him comes Donnie Leah. He's getting a lesson from the driver of car number 29 on how to get back to the front of this field. To the bottom and challenging, here comes Todd Owen. Leah being pressured by the 22 of Lloyd Agar. Back to the inside, here comes Owen. Savali to the outside, back to the line.
Well, it took a while for this race to get to full speed, but now Savali just had too much power for Todd Owen on the outside, moving into 3rd place.
The door opens, Savali looks to move to the bottom. Can't do it this time. Owen drops back to the 4th spot. Here comes Leah to the outside. White number 47, Christopher in command, lap number 14.
And a car slaps the wall, and then almost goes overboard.
It is Todd Owens, number 90, that literally gets up on 2 wheels down the front straightaway. As Owens' unbelievable run ends with misfortune on lap number 13. Kirk Zervis also involved with car number 99, but what a heartbreaker for Todd Owen. He was doing such a good job of running with that front pack of cars, but the scoreboard shows that Ted Christopher still is your leader under yellow with the 28 of Mike Holdridge in second, and James Savali setting in the third spot with car number 29. Unofficially, we think it's Lloyd Agar in the fourth position and Donnie Leah in position number 5.
Todd Owen usually keeps his emotions in check, but a very frustrated driver. As you saw, 4 or 5 guys battle for position in the track, and Todd Owen, that car came very close to spinning over, and fortunately that did not happen. The car did not leave the ground, but Todd Owen, not a happy driver there. As you see, he hit the wall very hard and then climbed the wall momentarily.
Sure did. There was no question about it. They were all battling for position there. Owen found a spot that he was running. Let's take another look at it again here. Comes out of the turn, and literally, once he gets the right side rubber touches the wall,
I think the right side rubber band was on top of the fence.
Yep, literally launched that car up on 2 wheels down the front straightaway here. And that's a heartbreaker. This kid's got a ton of talent. He's a hard-working young man that puts a lot of time in. Here's another look at it. Off the turn, it was a black car to the inside of him.
The 22 of Lloyd Agar made contact with the 90 of Owen, which sent Owen into the ozone.
Back to racing off turn number 4. Lap number 13 shows him aboard. Car number 13 runs at the point. Battle is for second.
And let's see if Holdridge is hung out to dry on the outside, as Savali has leverage in car number 29, and right now he has second place.
Lloyd Agar runs to the inside with the neon green, yellow, and black number 22. Give position number 3 to car number 22. Right there with him and moving in is the number 27 of Roscoe John Sandberg, who's making his presence felt. He'll take over the 4th spot. Holdridge dropped back to the bottom of the top 5.
That 27 car of John Sandberg was terrible in practice on Friday. He said today he really didn't know what to expect out of that car, except it was going to be one of the fastest cars here. He is proving that to be true right now.
Donnie Leah is also coming back to the front. He goes to the outside of Kenny Horton with car number 19. But it's Savali who's knocking on the back bumper of Ted Christopher. Here comes the cannonball to the inside of Leah. Woody Pitcat is there. Leah's in trouble on the top side. Car number 47.
Leah wobbled to the outside, and he's going to lose about 3 positions on the racetrack.
But off the turn, it is still a battle for the lead. 16 laps into the record books in this 40-lap event. Ted Christopher holding off James Savali. Further back in the field, here comes Pitcat. Now it's Eric Byrne who's trying to make some magic. On the inside, that's the battle for the top 10.
And we have quite a rivalry shaping up at the front of the field. In the lead, Ted Christopher. In second, the man who many people think can be the next Ted Christopher, James Savali. And they've had quite a few memorable battles at the end of last year. So it's quite a heated rivalry right now taking place between Christopher and Savali. They make some contact.
Savali goes to the inside. Christopher tries to guard the lane. Comes right back down on the racetrack. Down the back straightaway. Who gets the advantage of this one? Lloyd Agar goes right there to contend in the outside lane. Savali fights him back off turn 4.
And Savali just has too much energy on the bottom of the track. Lloyd Agar was no match for it. Now he starts to fade. Sandberg gets a little out of shape as he tucks it in behind the 22 car.
They start to string it out at the point. It is still Christopher. When they come back to the line, halfway down and halfway to go. Ted Christopher's got a mirror full of Savali back to turn 1.
Yeah, if he looks in his mirror, he'll see an 8x10 glossy of young James W. Savali. And I think I know what the W stands for, Ben. Winner.
Well, it's still a long way from over with yet at this point. Sandberg has moved into the 4th spot with car number 27. Savali looks to go to the outside. Thinks twice of it, moves to the bottom. But Christopher slams the door. It is Christopher leading the pack of cars down the back straightaway. Savali now challenging again to the bottom.
There's still plenty of time for Savali. We're only finishing the 22nd lap, And usually Savali likes to make his move on the last lap. That way, Christopher can't retaliate. So Savali knows he's got a lot of time left to work on the 13 car.
It is Lloyd Agar setting back in the 3rd spot, now currently with car number 22. 4th position, John Sandberg, and then the 5th spot is Mike Holdridge in the 28 car. Off the turn, Savali working him over, but Ted Christopher doesn't fold to pressure. Christopher still in command, tap to the bumper. Savali is there, but there just isn't good enough.
If you're going to try to intimidate someone, you're wasting your time if you're going to try to do it to Ted Christopher. Because right now, you know, he's got the ego. He is the best. He is a man to beat. And he is not going to be intimidated at all by James Savali.
Lloyd Agar is right there with these two, studying each and every move. The spotters have their hands on the buttons. They're telling their drivers exactly what they feel is going to be required to get the job done.
And Lloyd Agar in the 22, you see him to the left of your screen in 3rd position. He's done a good job just surviving this one, because it took its toll on a lot of drivers early on. Open for Savali.
Slingshots to the bottom. Lloyd Agar takes over the lead. Savali is back on the gas. He maintains position number 2.
And Christopher goes all the way back to 4th.
The fans are jumping up and down in their seats here at Stafford. It is Lloyd Agar to the point. Savali back in 2nd. Sandberg in 3rd. Christopher back to the 4th spot. Mike Holdridge waiting in position number 5.
The sparks flew between Christopher and Savali, and that gave Agar the opening he needed.
13 laps remaining in this event. Will James Savali have enough? Will Ted Christopher be able to come back to the top 3 for a podium finish? They head down the back straightaway. It is still Lloyd Agar holding on to the lead. Christopher working over Sandberg, down to the bottom to the inside. Here comes Christopher.
There is still time for Christopher to make a recovery. John Sandberg, pretty fast race car. He's got the bottom protected. And now Christopher finds a little hole.
Not able to complete the mission. That would give him position number 3. Agar still in command. Christopher still working over. John Sandberg turning in a brilliant run here this afternoon.
He has to hold off Christopher. There's a battle at the front of the field. Lloyd Agar, James Savali. Now Christopher has some momentum underneath.
Here comes Savali to the bottom of the racetrack. Going, gone. James Savali has come from the back to the front. Savali is your leader.
Penalized for rough riding on lap 5. Takes over the lead on lap 30.
He started in position number 5, James Savali. 30 laps into this event, runs you as your leader at the point. Lloyd Agar setting in 2nd. 3rd is Ted Christopher. 4th is Mike Holdridge. And 5th is John Sandberg. 6th is Woody Pitcat. 7th spot is Kenny Horton. And 8th position currently is held down by Chris Isella. Rounding out the top 10, it is car number 97 for Frank Rocco.
And Ted Christopher would like a yellow flag to narrow the distance between himself and James Savali. If that happens, we could have quite an ending to this race.
In 8 circuits, it's all going to be history. Savali at the point. Starting to pull away. Here's another good challenge going on. Holdridge in the neon yellow and black machine, battling with the black 27 of Sandberg.
Holdridge has really done his homework over the winter, and that's pretty obvious by the way he's running today. Looks like he has momentum right there, and he is just going to try to blur his way underneath John Sandberg.
Here comes Woody Pitcat.
Here's another guy who had his troubles early on, and he has battled back to the front.
Pitcat goes to the inside. Car number 81, Woody Pitcat, started this event in the 8th spot and now has moved in to position number 5. Sandberg in the 6th spot, and then Horton sets in 7th.
So the Sultan of Stafford Springs, Woody Pitcat's made a great run. James Savali, less than 5 laps away from what would be an impressive victory. Overall, would be his 4th SK Modified victory in a row.
Back to the stripe, Savali runs a picture-perfect line at the point. Lloyd Agar still setting in 2nd. Ted Christopher in the 3rd spot, but Christopher cannot gain in his quest for position number 2. As they head off turn number 4, back to the stripe, Savali still your leader at the line.
And the only yellow that Savali wants to see is on the safety suits of our track crew. He doesn't want to see it on the flag stand because you don't want a double file restart with Ted Christopher right behind you.
This time, the popsicle sticks are up. 2 laps to go. Savali is literally gone at the point. But for Lloyd Agar, he's got a mirror full of Christopher. 2 black cars battle at the line.
Christopher looking for some room at the bottom. He finally has it. Let's see if he can make the most of it.
When they come to the stripe, white flag is out. There is no surrendering in the battle for second. Christopher moves into the catbird seat. 1 lap to go.
But this might be a coronation lap for James Savali. As long as nothing breaks on his car, it should be a joyride the rest of the way.
Caution flag comes out of the field.
Frank Rocco stranded in turn 4, bringing out the gold. And now we're going to have the double file restart that everybody wanted to see. James Savali on the inside, Ted Christopher on the outside.
It'll be a battle of the best right to the finish. 39 lap show on the scoreboard. And here at Jackaroo Stafford Motor Speedway, there is one policy that stands out among all of the policies. And that, of course, is
double file will make you smile.
Let's take a look at it again on the Diamond Vision screen.
Rocco climbed on the 6 car, Chris Osella, and that's where he wound up.
Yep, Rocco spun to the inside. It'll be a green-white checkers situation. This is the start of 2005. This is the start of SK Modified Racing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. This is what it's all about. The fans are ready. Get ready off turn number 4. Savali down low. Christopher Holdridge right behind him. Down to the bottom of 1. It's Christopher in command. Up the hill he goes.
Here comes Holdridge on the outside in the 28 car, giving Christopher all he can handle.
Savali right there on the back bumper of Christopher. 3 wide. They tap down to the bottom of turn 3.
Christopher just shrugs it off.
Here comes Holdridge. Savali way out wide. He loses the car lane. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Here comes Savali trying to make a move at the bottom. It looks like he has lost some nourishment on that car. It's a 2-man battle between Christopher and Holdridge.
It is TC, Ted Christopher at the point. Holdridge waiting in the wings. Off turn number 4. Here comes Lloyd Agar. Savali drops back to 4th. It's Christopher at the line.
Christopher just edging Mike Holdridge for the victory. James Savali, those 2 cars almost come together right after the race is over, but Ted Christopher, it looked like he was finished in this race with 10 laps to go as he faded all the way back to 4th. But you know, the yellow flag giveth, the yellow flag taketh away. This time it cost James Savali a victory, and it gave one to the defending 2004 champion.
There is no question about it. The fans were just standing and jumping up and down. TC Ted Christopher is the man who'll visit CarQuest Victory Lane for the first SK Modified event win of 2005. And what about the run by Mike Holdridge with car number 28 for a podium finish? The little guy still can get the job done. And Lloyd Agar, who was there all afternoon, hats off to him. And James Savali might not have won the race, but he won a lot of attention from a lot of screaming race fans here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, he was less than a lap away from the victory when a caution flag came out because of an incident in turn 4. That gave Ted Christopher a second chance, and he made the most of it. We said, Ben, he might be the best on the restarts at all time at Stafford, and he used that skill to his advantage as he came flying off of turn 4 to take the lead, and 2 laps later to take down the win.
Tony, is Ted Christopher getting the congratulations from a couple fans down here. As you can see, a little bit of damage on the left rear quarter panel of the Mystique Motorsports car number 13. But Teddy, of course, one of the masters here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and right now sitting in his Mystique Motorsports car, taking a couple big gulps of water before he climbs on out and greets the CarQuest TechNet Spring Sizzler crowd here on this beautiful sun-drenched Sunday afternoon as TC starts his busy afternoon finishing here in Victory Lane. All the safety devices coming out, and now Teddy comes out of the race car.
I guess they haven't forgot me, huh?
No, they definitely didn't forget about you, TC. Take us through. Teddy, take us through that last lap.
Yeah, it's, this is the first time running the Chrysler, and it's got real good power, but we got a little bit of issues to handle with it. It just doesn't get in good, and I knew it was real good on the restart and got a good restart, got down in there, and everybody's banging around and stuff and stayed on the bottom and bring it to the finish.
Now to the midway point of the race, you had young James Savali right behind you. He was tapping a little bit on that chrome horn. Feel any little intimidation factor from the young gun?
No, not quite. I don't get intimidated by anybody.
I didn't think so. Well, definitely a strong run. 2004 champion, starts 2005 off, but you still got a couple more races to go here, TC.
Yeah, I'm going to run the late model, which I'm sure some people won't like that, but I really got to thank Joe Ham for that. And I really want to thank my crew and Jim Galante and everybody. Jim couldn't be here today. His hockey team's in the playoffs, but good start for the season. We'll work on this thing and get it better for every Friday night. Well,
sounds good. Teddy Christopher starting off 2005 down here in CarQuest Victory Lane here in the SK Modified Feature event.
Pretty much picking up where they finished off last year.
Yeah, and I'm running out of fingernails again, but I tell you, that was a wild ride. It never seemed like we were going to get past lap 5, but the latter laps of that race was really exciting. We're going to have an interesting season. Let's go back down to Victory Lane.
Well, thanks a lot, Tony. One of the drivers that, really had a great shot on that last lap was Mike Holgers. And Mike, you were right in the thick of things, right coming down to the checkered flag.
No, I had a great view of it. I wish I started third on the restart. I probably would have made it out a little bit better, but he deserves the win. He held his groove, and I couldn't get by him. So congratulations to Ted, and we'll try again next week.
Well, take us through your race. You really had to work tonight, or this afternoon, really working this 28 car.
Well, I thought the track was pretty slick all day with the modified tour rubber, and then the speedy dry and avoiding wrecks. It's amazing it's sitting here in one piece, to be honest with you.
Well, definitely a great way for you to start 2005. Hopefully many more great runs for you here.
Oh, I hope you're right. Thank you.
Mike Holdridge finishes in the runner-up position. Great way to start off Spring Sizzler weekend for Mike Holdridge. Guys?
Stafford Speedway's banquet facility, a full-service banquet facility located on the grounds of SMS, is ready to serve your needs. Plan your next function at the Fairgrounds Banquet Facility. Visit the Speedway office for more information. The Fairgrounds Restaurant open for breakfast and lunch every Wednesday through Sunday, 7 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. For more information on the restaurant, the banquet facility, and the menu selections, visit the Fairgrounds section on the web at StaffordSpeedway.com. Tony?
Well, let's send it once more back down to Andy, who's with our third place finisher. Andy?
I am with third place finisher Lloyd Agar. And Lloyd, you were right there pretty much all race long. You actually had the lead at one point and ended up in a third place finish.
Yeah, well, for one, I just can't say enough for my crew and the small group of people that are helping us out financially and physically this year. Johnny from Transmission Clinic and Lori, Billy from Performance Engines, Mike from Chassis Dynamics, Kevin Allen, and all the people that are digging personally to keep this deal alive till we find a sponsor. I mean, we broke a tie rod there on lap 6, and I thought our day was done. They hustled, got us back in the race, and we did the best we could with something that's all tore up on the right front.
I was just about to ask you were caught up in an earlier incident, and the crew really went to work, got aided with a couple yellows as we tried to get lap number 5 complete. Did you ever think you were going to come up and finish here on the podium?
I only come here to win, and to do what we did with this car today, as bad as it is, we're going to win a lot of races this year.
There we go. Agar starts off 2005 here on the podium, finishing third on CarQuest Spring Sizzler Sunday afternoon.
Who has a long way to go, starting back in 16th position to repeat what he did earlier. He will be looking to move up through the field as we get ready to go green.
Fans will watch the 19 of Kenny Horton join the rest of the field in the Cordone & Son Chevrolet Monte Carlo. The Cannonball just finished running 40 laps in the SK Modified feature in his number 19 God Bless America Chevy Cavaliers. So Horton will now pull double duty, as he will do all season long.
As well as Ted Christopher driving that number 13 car. Horton, it takes a bit of time to get out of one car into the other, but the thing that's really amazing is these guys can come out of an automobile as totally different driving characteristics and jump into another one in a moment's notice and go fast.
One driver to watch, Ed Ricard on pole in the number 77, voted most improved driver in the 2004 Stafford Awards banquet in the late model division. He expects to visit CarQuest Victory Lane more than once this year.
Well, if he's going to improve, all he's got to do is stay ahead of everybody else in this field of 26 cars. As they enter the back straightaway, the lights are off on the pace car. We're about to go racing, and we'll send it over. And we will not send it over. We will stay with them as they come down the back straightaway. Still jockeying for position a little bit. Car that always impresses, Mavrogiannis is 01, sitting there on the outside of row number 2. And Jim Mavrogiannis, a driver to be contended with.
And Tony, we're getting word the reason for the delay is Ted Christopher had a delay strapping into his car after all the Victory Lane ceremonies and having to switch out from his 13 SK Modified ride. So now he jumps into his Dodge Intrepid and will have to join the rest of the field. We'll just wait momentarily.
Well, he is in the car. He has backed out from behind the pit wall, and he is proceeding to join the legions of late model racers. And Ted Christopher is not unfamiliar to full fender racing. He has done a number of stints in Busch North. He's run a couple of Busch races. He's even started a Nextel Cup race. He's done a lot of things with fenders on it. He's about to do it again here today.
The second row starting here today for the 30-lap late model feature, very strong. To the inside, Jim Mavrogiannis, who returned to Stafford last year after being away for several years. He's hungry to get back to CarQuest Victory Lane. And how about Tommy Fern? He started off slow. I was talking to his owner, Brian Kennedy, the other day. He said they have high expectations. Yet again, they just keep on building and building as a team. The car is completely brand new, and they are looking to visit CarQuest Victory Lane several times this year, just as though they did last year.
Tom Fern was a dominant factor in the Pro Stock division. He went on to other racetracks to stay in the Pro Stock division. He's come back and he's become a dominant figure in the late model division. And he said to me earlier today, boy, things have sure changed since I left here a few years ago. Last year showed him that these guys can drive just as hard as the Pro Stocks.
Ed Ricard, the most improved driver in the late model division a year ago, going heads up with Scott Foster back to the late model division after 2 years in the SK Modified.
Two crafty veterans setting on the inside of row number 2, Jim Mavrogiannis and Tommy Fern. Both of those are former Pro Stock drivers. Ryan Pisacco, the guy to watch, sits back in that third row with car number 3. All eyes are going to be on car number 13, Teddy Christopher.
And the 92 of Fern looking very comfortable on the outside as Ricard nudges his car back into the lead.
Foster runs the outside lane, hammers it off turn number 4. Mike Hinson had the lead at the line. But what will happen on turn number 2?
Scott Foster, came out of 5 division, said he's just out to have some fun this year. His old number was 44, and right now he is getting passed out by Jim Mavrogiannis. Looks very efficient on the bottom group.
Keep your eyes on the 13 of Teddy Christopher. The MP Malco Products machine is coming to the front with a vengeance. Pisacco was concerned about Christopher being a big contender, and he is. Trouble now down in turn 1. 66 of Cliff Stakey rode the wall, but still keeps running. We're still under green.
He pounded that wall pretty hard. It's amazing that car is still moving. Ricard is moving very quickly to hold off Mavrogiannis for the lead.
The Extra Mart convenience store, number 01 for Jim Mavrogiannis, currently sets in second. Third, the defending series champion, Ryan Pisacco, runs the Eagle Leasing number 3 in the third spot. Then it's the Malco Products number 13 for Ted Christopher. And there's another good battle going on between Tommy Fern with car number 92, and it appears the number 44 machine right there contending with him is Scott Foster.
Well, that time Fern went right underneath him, like tires. Christopher now stalking the speed of Ryan Pasacco. Christopher the fastest in practice. There was a lot of controversy. What is Ted Christopher doing in a late model? But drivers like Tommy Butler welcome to the ranks. He said having Ted Christopher in the late models raises the bar for everybody else.
And that's exactly what's happening right now. There is a dogfight battle going on among the top 5 cars here. A little further back in the field, we should point out the 48 car, and that, of course, is the Frenchman-owned race car driven by Jay Stewart. Stewart is no stranger to running up front, but he is struggling at the bottom of the top 10 currently, trying to find his way to the front of the field.
Jay Stewart loves to run the bottom groove at Stafford, and you'll never see him leave that white line area. He loves to hug the bottom groove. There's Tommy Fern shadowing the 44 of Scott Foster.
Behind Fern is Mark Atkinson with the number 88 car. He'll challenge to the inside, can't quite do it, pulls it back into formation. But for 7 circuits in this 30-lap event, it is car number 77 from Ed Ricard, started in position number 1 with Jim Mavlajanis, the Extra Mart convenience store number 01, running in second. Third is Ryan Pasacco, car number 3, Ted Christopher in the 4th spot, and Tommy Fern rounds out the top 5.
And Tommy Fern's practice times were very close to what Ted Christopher was running. So even though Christopher was the fastest car, it wasn't by that much. Tommy Butler didn't make it to practice on Friday. He was in Florida. That's why he had to start so deep in the field.
Off the turn, back to the strike they come. Ricard still your leader. Ricard right there at the point, doing a fine job of holding on in position number 1. Mavlajanis all over his back bumper. Jim Mavlajanis told us a year ago that he was shocked at how stiff the competition was in this late model division. Coming from the pro stock, where he was a dominant factor, he thought the adjustment would be easy. But he'll tell you, it was a tough adjustment, but he seems to be settling in rather well now.
Yeah, Jim never got any momentum in 2000. Right now, he's looking good. Ed Ricard giving him a little room on the bottom, and right now, Mavlajanis not quick enough to take advantage of it.
There's Ted Christopher right there with that front pack of 4. Now add the number 92 of Tommy Fern, and you've got the top 5. 11 laps down, just 4 laps shy of the halfway marker in this event. There's Jay Stewart challenging to the inside of Foster in the Davidson number 48 car, and Stewart will pick up the spot. Here's Christopher, he touches the Eagle Leasing number 3.
Ryan Pasacco, everything is the same as it was in his championship year. Same group, same car. Now Mavlajanis, once again, he has some room on the bottom, but he just is not quick enough to take advantage of it.
Ed Ricard, the A&A Budget Repair number 77, was very strong, started at the point, and has not relinquished any space. Oh, he drifts up the hill, leaves the door open. Here comes Mavlajanis. But one mistake that Ricard made was going in too hard into turn number 1. It cost him the lead.
And now Pasacco trying to take advantage of that same opening. And Ryan Pasacco is moved into second place. We've only raced 14 laps, so there's a lot of time left for Pasacco to track down Jim Mavlajanis.
Ted Christopher moves into the 3rd spot. Here comes Fern. Mark Atkinson takes position number 5. As Ricard gets shuffled to the back of the field, here comes Jay Stewart. This time, at the line, halfway down, halfway to go.
A lot of people said that Ted Christopher might take him a while to get used to the tires that they run on a late model. It might not be an easy adjustment for him to make. That's something to keep in mind as he chases Ryan Pasacco for second place.
Tommy Butler has moved into the top 7 positions here with car number 4. But it is Jim Mavlajanis, the Extra Mart convenience store number 01, starting to string it out at the point. 16 laps and counting in this 30-lap event brought to you by CarQuest.
Tommy Butler was in Florida 2 days ago, and he was surprised by the weather we had back east, but it's beautiful right now as Christopher looks for some leverage underneath Ryan Pasacco.
Off off the turn. Christopher glued to the back bumper of Passaco, but Passaco still holds on to the catbird seat. Christopher in the third spot, already been to victory lane in the SKs here this afternoon. Now looks to get to the front and win his first late model race. Here comes Rezitek, the 49 car, challenging.
Rezitek said the horsepower in that car has been unbelievable so far this year, and he uses it to full advantage there. Almost got underneath Tommy Fern, and he is not giving up.
That's the Rick Lanigan number 82 car that he's challenging with, as Fern is still running among the top 4 cars.
And Lanigan got hung out to dry. Horton got underneath him as well in the 19 car. Chris Matthews in the 29, and the 6 by Mike Quintiliano.
But it is still Mavrogiannis flawlessly running at the point. 19 laps are down. Passaco, the defending series champion, setting in second. Christopher in the third spot. Fern is fourth. Atkinson is fifth. Stewart is sixth. Ricard is seventh. Butler is eighth. Ninth is Foster. And rounding out the top 10 is Joe Rezitek.
So less than 10 laps to go, and now Ryan Passaco has some problems behind him. Ted Christopher is almost sitting on his lap.
Christopher starts to work the inside as car number 02 goes spinning off turn number 4. It is out of harm's way. That's Skip Brewing with the number 02, but we go to yellow. Is this the break that Christopher was looking for?
It's not only the break that he was looking for, but also Tommy Fern. A little more urgency for the rest of the field, including Ryan Passaco. He might not have time to take his time because Christopher will be right there.
We're back at green flag conditions. Trouble now. We've got to spin down the front straightaway.
Mike Quintiliano out of shape. He stay under grade. Mavrogiannis getting all he can handle. He's getting ganged up on by Passaco and Christopher.
Christopher to the inside. Mavrogiannis at the point. Diamond formation. Passaco slips up the hill just a bit. Here comes Christopher to the bottom down in turn 1.
Two champions ganged up on Mavrogiannis. Christopher, the SK champ. Passaco, the late model champ. And Mavrogiannis was able to hold both champions off.
Ted Christopher moves into second. 22 laps with 8 laps remaining. Mavrogiannis got a miracle of 20. That is the Malcolm Products machine.
Boy, this is a Mavrogiannis we saw race in the late models in the early 90s. The best attack him, and he just shakes them off like they were flies.
And while all that's been going on at the point, a battle for 5th between Jay Stewart and the number 88 machine of Mark Atkinson.
So the 48 is Stewart. He hasn't wandered too much from the bottom groove. There's the battle for the lead. Mavrogiannis has it. Still in the neighborhood. When they hit the stripe, we're down to our final 5 laps.
Off turn number 4. This time, the high five is being given. Jim Mavrogiannis holds off Teddy Christopher. Will he be able to do it for the final 4 as they work their way down to the bottom of turn 1? Christopher right there reeling him in. Off turn 2, Mavrogiannis comes on stronger. Brings it out by about a car length and a half. But into the turn, Christopher closes the door. They almost touch.
It looks like Christopher has the handling in the corners, but Mavrogiannis is able to pull away on the straightaways.
It is still Mavrogiannis in command. The clock is ticking. Christopher all over Mavrogiannis down the back straightaway. It's still Mavrogiannis in the lead, but Christopher is right there. 26 when they come to the line. Lap number 27 will click off. 2 laps to go. Coming up next.
You saw Christopher try to make that move, go high on the corner and then bring it down, trying to use momentum to muscle his way underneath Mavrogiannis. But Mavrogiannis was ready for it, and he has not strayed very far from the bottom of the track.
This time when they cross the stripe, 2 laps to go. Mavrogiannis hunted down by the Malco Products machine. TC Ted Christopher. He's been to CarQuest Victory Lane already today. Will he be able to do it again? But Mavrogiannis has been so strong throughout this event.
So strong, Ben, and so smart, as he has kept that car right where he needs to keep it, hugging that white line.
white flag is out. Try, but Mavlijanis is still your leader.
Mavlijanis very smooth in the corners. Here comes Christopher again. This is the last shot, the last bullet in the holster for Ted Christopher.
He fires the bullet, but it's a misfire, and Jim Mavlijanis will take down the win. Jim Mavlijanis is back in the winner's circle here at Jackaroon Stafford Motor Speedway. The Extra Mart convenience store team has done it, and you can see Mavlijanis is ecstatic over the win and very
Had the SK Modified champion, Ted Christopher, and the two-time defending late model champion, Ryan Pisacco, breathing down his fire suit, and Jim Mavlijanis was able to race away from two of the best in Stafford for a much-deserved first win. The first win for Mavlijanis since his comeback, which started last year.
Always greatly prepared and beautifully presented equipment with a great performance in his late model race here, the first for 2005, and he'll be collecting the laurels in just a moment when he gets out of his 01 car. Ted Christopher unbuckles and gets out of the 13 car. And earlier I was talking to the crew chief on the late model 13 team, and I said, did Ted give you any instructions as to how the car was to be set up? And they looked at me and they said, no, Ted just said, make sure the car is running, it's full of gas, and I'll take it. That was it. No matter what it was, he was going to just take over the wheel and go and do what he had to do. And Ryan Pisacco, I spoke to him earlier today, and he is as focused as he has ever been on claiming another championship. So some very talented drivers in victory lane on the podium, first, second, and third, and we'll send it down to Andy in victory lane.
Well, thank you very much, Tony. As Jim Mavlijanis getting a couple big gulps of water, sitting in the Extra Mart convenience stores, car number 01, getting all the safety stuff unbuckled, and he's getting set to climb out and greet the fans here at CarQuest Spring Sizzler Sunday. 2004, not the year Jim Mavlijanis wanted, but start 2005, he holds off not one, but two champions here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. As Jim climbs out of the car now, as Jim, 2004 really wasn't the season that you wanted, but what a way to start off this year. You hold off two champions, not just one, two champions here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Oh my God, I beat the king, Ryan. Oh, I'm out of breath. Listen, I gotta thank the crew. I gotta thank Mike Pettit for putting this motor together. We broke a motor on Friday. We worked all night, Friday night, Saturday. Thank Tony. I gotta thank, I think Ricky, Goody, Tom, Steve, Dave Winters, he went and picked the other motor up. I mean, we had an all-nighter. I really can't believe we're here. I'm so happy. I got to thank my sponsors, Extra Mart Convenience Stores, Magna Steel, Romano Construction. I got to thank CarQuest for supporting the racetrack. I got to thank their Roots for giving us a great facility. Thankfully, the weather's good. We're having a great day of racing. And I got to especially thank the most important person, my wife, who spots for me and stands behind me whatever I do. Thank you very much.
Jim, take us through that lap 9 restart. You were running with Eddie Ricard right there for the race lead. What happened on that restart?
Well, you know, Eddie got slipped up a little bit in one. That's how I got by Eddie, and then we had the restart with Ryan, and I was just hoping he and Teddy would mix it up a little bit, give me a little chance, and you know, the car was, Ricky had the car, and Goody had the car going superbly. I mean, this is the best it's ever been. I mean, obviously it shows, and you know, I really have to thank them, and you know, the guys in the garage is what makes this happen.
Hopefully this win's going to erase some of 2004 and all the bad luck you had then?
Well, I hope so. You know, I was going to race part-time, actually. You know, looks like we're going to go a full season. That's the plans right now, and we'll see what happens.
Jim Mavlijanis starts off 2005 here in CarQuest Victory Lane, but I'm sure we'll see him many more times here at Stafford.
next-day basis, your neighborhood CarQuest Auto Parts store is just the place to visit for all your automotive needs. Even hard-to-find parts are no problem for the pros at CarQuest. If it's a really tough part, don't lose heart. You'll find it at CarQuest. Rain on pit road. Andy?
Thanks a lot, guys, down here. Well, with TC, Teddy Christopher, and Teddy jumping right out of the SK Modified right into the 13 late model, and you almost grabbed another win.
Yeah, you know, it's the first time in the car. I want to thank Joe Ham and everybody for letting me drive the thing. We're here to, you know, have some fun. We're not going to race the whole year. We're just probably about 6 or 8 races. Congratulations to Jim. That was a fun race with him. Good time.
Take us through the differences, all right? Jumping out of an SK car, totally different race car, jumping into the late model. Any different? You feel any similarities to them or what?
Yeah, these roll a lot more. They pretty much handle like a Busch car almost, you know, just don't really have a lot of power. But, I mean, this thing goes real good. I like to thank Tony from TA. It's got a great motor in it. And, like I said, Joe with the guys with the chassis really worked good. A few issues we had with it, but we'll fix them for next time.
Now, there's this real big 200-lap race coming up next. You won it 3 times already. How about it? Sweep the podium.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely would like to get up on the podium. You know, if we can win, we can win. It's a long race. A lot of stuff happens in it. See what happened. We started off good at Thompson. See if we can, you know, finish the day out here at Stafford.
Well, Teddy Christopher shows one more time he can pretty much drive anything here at Stafford as long as it has 4 wheels and a motor as he gets ready to go into his Tour Modified, guys.
We'll be participating in NASCAR Day, Friday, May 20th. Stafford Motor Speedway will host a Best Dressed contest that Friday evening here at the track with the race fan who is wearing the best NASCAR-themed outfit winning a special Stafford Motor Speedway prize. For a $5 donation that will benefit the Victory Junction Gang Camp, Speedway Children's Charities, and Speediatrics, fans will receive a commemorative NASCAR Day lapel pin. Pins are now available at the Speedway office through May 20th. More from Pit Road and Andy Crane. Andy?
Well, just talking a little racing right now with racing Ryan Pasacco. And Ryan, 3rd place, good way to start off the year.
Yeah, we're happy. We've been struggling with the car here at the beginning of the year, but we'll get it figured out. We're happy with 3rd. It's in one piece, and we'll get them next Friday.
How was the car handling out there? I know weather really throwing everybody a curveball this weekend. Now a lot of rubber down on the racetrack where there was none before. How was the 3 car working around the half mile?
We just made an educated guess at it today, and we just missed. It was a little bit tight for us, and we couldn't get a good run out. So congratulate Jim. Awesome run. And like I said, we'll be here again next Friday and hope to be in victory lane.
Well, Ryan Pasacco, 2-time defending champion here at Stafford. Again, another good start for the 3 car. Boys back in the TV truck. You guys got to...
It is a picture-perfect afternoon in the heart of New England for the 34th annual CarQuest TechNet Spring Sizzler. The men who live by the grace of God are set to go the distance. This is the greatest race in the history of spring. I'm Van Dodge along with Matt Buckler. We're ready for the start as we head to green.
And who will get the jump? It looks like Devin George in the 0 car gets the upper hand. Everybody navigates their way through the first turn cleanly.
Nev George takes advantage of things, but right to the outside is Todd Zegedy. Zegedy driving the Mike Bowler race car for the very first time. Here comes Donnie Leah. He'll challenge. White number 18 is dancing without a partner for position number 3. He'll go to the outside of the defending series champion. That is Tony Hirschman as they head off turn 2.
Tony Hirschman a little wobbly off the first corner, but he is able to calm the car down. A great battle between himself and Donnie Leah for 3rd place.
Then it's a battle of Reggie Ruggiero and Eddie Flemke. Both of them are partners in a fabrication business that builds these type of race cars. But it is Ruggiero who takes advantage and takes over position number 5. The number 41, the red car, moves to the inside, given the 5th spot. But not without a fight. Dogfight battle as Chuck Hosfeld runs strong to the outside. They're wheel-to-wheel back at the line.
But he doesn't have enough energy in that car right now to keep up with Reggie Ruggiero in car number 41. Ed Flemke right behind him. It was 33 years ago today, man. Ed Flemke Sr. was the 2nd Spring Sizzler. What a 50th birthday present it would be for Eddie Jr. to win his first Spring Sizzler.
There has only been one event run in the Whelen Modified Series in 2005. And Ted Christopher is the man who dominated the racing action. Well, if you call dominating, winning by a bumper. That's exactly what Ted Christopher did over Zach Sylvester. Currently, Christopher, Jimmy Galante's Mystique Motorsports number 13, sets back at the bottom of the top 10. Here comes the Reg. He's challenging Donnie Leah. Reggie Ruggiero puts the Atlantic Sprinkler System number 41 to the inside. In position, number 4 to car number 41. And the tail that wags the dog becomes Chuck Hosfeld with car number 50 as they come back to the stripe.
Ruggiero looked like a cork popping out of a champagne bottle as he just spurted ahead of Leah. And also, Hosfeld taking advantage of that move in car number 50. Now Ted Christopher starting to make some noise as he tries to go down low underneath the Eddie Flemke car.
Another driver that is working his way towards the front is the driver of the Polar Beverages number 1 car for Ricky Fuller. Remember, Ricky Fuller has been to the winner's circle before here in Sizzler competition. He is no stranger to running up front. He'll pick up yet another position here as car number 1 also is coming on strong and working its way to the front of the field. 8 laps now complete in this 200-lap event, presented to you by CarQuest. Let's set the stage. It is Nevin George, your leader, and Ralph Solom, number 0 at the point. Trouble out, Chris Kopech. The Flamingo Motorsports number 16 goes spinning to the center of the infield. He's going to go down a lap map.
As Nevin George and company pass him by, Chris Kopech, who took off the entire 2004 season because of a concussion, is now in last place at the Spring Sizzler.
Back towards the front of the field, it is still Nevin George in command, car number 0 out of Kunkeltown, Pennsylvania. Setting in second, it is the Motor Racing Enterprises machine for Todd Szegedy. Eric Beers was scheduled to drive the car. He broke his collarbone and some ribs during the first event of the season, sets out today's event, but will be back behind the wheel in upcoming events.
And I asked Todd Szegedy what he thought about never having driven that car before. He said it was no big deal. He was confident in his ability that he could get that car to the front.
Confidence is a key ingredient, and the Boulder family have put confidence in a lot of drivers over the years. Let's shift a little further back now. The red number 41 of Reggie Ruggiero being hunted down by Chuck Hosfeld. Todd Szegedy drove this car to a championship and to tremendous success here at Stafford. Phil Moran, the crew chief on the automobile, has got Hosfeld dialed into perfection. Now, 1 year ago in this event, Hosfeld was driving Bob Garbarino's number 4 and was the guy literally gone at the front of the field. His strategy today visually appears to be much different than it was 1 year ago.
Yeah, it looks like he's very patient at this stage of the race as he is content to be behind Reggie Ruggiero in car number 41. Todd Szegedy says it's been Chuck Hosfeld says it's an easy adjustment for him to make going with that Phil Moran team. He said those are great guys involved with that race team.
A little further back, Eddie Flemke, the birthday boy, is right behind Donnie Leah. That is in the 7th spot. 8th is Teddy Christopher. 9th is Ricky Fuller. And rounding out the top 10, it is Frank Rocco with car number 91. Eric Byrne, SK Modified standout, is just out of the top 10. Ricky Fuller has a problem at off turn 2.
Yeah, Ricky Fuller, a stutter step coming off the second corner. Frank Rocco unable to take advantage of it. Donnie Leah now trying to get underneath Reggie Ruggiero.
Hosfeld moved in, took over the 4th spot. Going, gone. He gave Ruggiero a tap to the bumper and then drove on by. Leah is waiting in the wings. Kevin Crowley prepares this race car for the competition for Leah. And Leah's confidence is up this season. He time trialed exceptionally well. He's glued to the back bumper of the Raceworks chassis number 41.
Leah didn't get off to the greatest start in 2004. Hit his stride about the middle of the summer, and he looks very comfortable now, content to ride it out behind the Reg.
But it is still Nevin George at the point. Ralph Solom is one of those crafty veteran car owners and crew chiefs. He knows how to get the very most out of his equipment, and Nevin George is showing that right now at the point.
He's never had a lot of luck here at Stafford Speedway, but right now he's holding off one of the best drivers in the country in Todd Szegedy and Tony Hirschman, who just missed out on winning the Sizzler a year ago, has crowded in. So 3 are jammed together at the front of the field.
There is no question about it that Hirschman is a very consistent runner. Saves his equipment till late in the event and then shows his cards at the table.
He's won 4 championships in his career. Last year, however, might have been the most satisfying because he called all the shots. Before, he was just really driving, brought his bag to the track and stepped into the car. Last year, he was not only the driver, he was also the manager of the team, and that's why that title number 4 was such a big thrill for Hirschman.
Teddy Christopher has moved around Eddie Flemke. That'll give him position number 7. The 2 will touch. They touch off turn 2.
They might have done that a few times here in the Spring Sizzler in years past.
Well, Christopher gives the birthday boy a spanking in turn 2. And back to the point, it is still Nevin George, but Todd Szegedy is right there. Just reels him in. It appears visually that Szegedy is the quicker of the 2 at the point.
Yeah, it looks like he could go after the lead anytime he wants it. But right now, he's very comfortable to just follow the tire tracks of George. Chuck Hosfeld has made up a lot of ground, and right now he's hounding Tony Hirschman for the number 3 position.
Flemke's car slightly off the pace now. Christopher just motored on by, and now Ricky Fuller is starting to work over the number 10 with a Polar Beverage number 1. Then Frank Rocco, still there with Eric Byrne. Charlie Pastriak has found a home with Jim Storis, Kenny Berry, Doug Colby, and Mike Christopher in a car that was previously driven by Ed Flemke.
The best battle on our track now is between Eddie Flemke and Ricky Fuller in the white 1 car. Fuller now losing a little ground to the 10 of Flemke.
Yeah, Flemke's car is not as strong, Matt, as we saw it early in the first 15 laps of the event. Back to the point, literally inches separate first from second. Here comes Szegedy. Nope, can't do it. Nevin George slams the door. The vibration can be felt on the back bumper, and that comes from Todd Szegedy.
Well, right now, Szegedy, the brightest blip on the radar screen. He has room underneath Nevin George.
27 circuits into the record books. First challenge for the lead. Nevin George, here comes Szegedy. They touch. Rub rails off turn number 4 by inches at the line. George. Szegedy fights back, Matt, in turn 2.
Yeah, I don't know if they touch. I think they hammered each other, and Szegedy finally has the gap he needed. Hirschman now trying to explode through the same cavity to move into second.
Trouble now. Hirschman goes around right in the apex of turns 3 and 4 as we go down on pit road. Hirschman is able to get it fired back up.
Well, when was the last time you saw Tony Hirschman spin when he was contending for the lead?
So let's set the field. 30 laps as they cross the stripe this time. The leader is Todd Szegedy, the second leader of the event. Nevin George setting in second. Then in the 3rd spot is Chuck Hosfeld. Donnie Leah is 4th. Reggie Ruggiero is 5th. 6th is Teddy Christopher. 7th is Ed Flemke. 8th is Ricky Fuller. 9th is Frank Rocco. And 10th is Eric Byrne. Just out of the top 10 is Charlie Pastriak, Jim Storis, Doug Colby, Kenny Berry, Mike Christopher, and Tony Ferrante.
While you were running down the top 15, Ben, Todd Szegedy able to widen his lead over the 0 of Nevin George. Remember this year, we have really 2 defending champions. Gary Marquis, the defending championship driver, but that 3 car of Mike Bowler sat in victory lane a year ago. So that's a defending championship car, and right now it's picking up right where it left off 1 year ago. Dogfight battle for positions at the bottom of the top 10 as Ricky Fuller just slingshot by Ed Flemke and picked up a position here. But your leader still remains. Car number 3, Mike Bowler, the son of the legendary Lenny Bowler, and his mother run this race team. And they are very successful at doing just that. You know, now Todd Szegedy lives in North Carolina, and I asked him how he liked living there. He said, it's great because things are a lot cheaper than they are in Richmond. Well, with 35 laps showing on the scoreboard, the leader is about to come up and lap cars at the tail end of the field. The first car to be lapped and put down a lap in competition will be Kevin Konopka with car number 51.
In front of Konopka is the G-Lopes number 46 car, and that, of course, is Dick Houlihan out of Bridgewater, Mass.
And you get the feeling, Ben, that Chuck Hosfeld can get by Nevin George almost any time he wants. It looks like the 50 is a little faster than the 0, and Donnie Leah has closed up a lot of ground, and he's become a factor again for 4th place.
Hosfeld right there contending on the back bumper. They come up on lap traffic now. Leader gets by for Todd Zegedy. Nevin George squeaks by the lap car of Konopka, car number 51, the red and black car. And so does Donnie Leah.
Here comes Ted Christopher going to the outside of Reggie Ruggiero. And he has moved into 5th place.
Ruggiero is not as strong as he was early in the event. His car seems to be going away on him. As Mike Bullard gets down into the dirt on the bottom of the racetrack and almost spins.
And Ted Christopher seems
trouble down the back straightaway. Jerry Marquis, defending race winner, and the 0-0 of Mike Stefanik. It almost appeared as if Marquis' car suddenly just shut down. Marquis went spinning to the inside of the racetrack. Stefanik had no place to go. He hits at a ton and backs into the wall.
So 2 drivers with 5 Sizzler championships between them are out of commission on lap number 40.
Heartbreaking situation for the drivers of both these teams. Jerry Marquis, set behind the wheel of the Bowler number 3 last year, won this event. Chuck Hosfeld vacated that ride, and moving in to the number 4 machine was Jerry Marquis. Mike Stefanik did not want to make a total commitment to running all of the events on the Whelen Modified Tour, and then decided just days before the icebreaker to get behind the wheel of Joe Brady's race car.
And now, Ben, you see that red flag at the entrance of pit row. The pits are closed down. They will open up shortly, and it will be interesting to see if anybody goes in there to make adjustments on the car. And I'm thinking perhaps somebody like Eddie Flemke, Ricky Fuller, we'll see if they will go in and make an early pit stop. Remember, you are allotted 4 tires during the course of the race, and some drivers, like Ted Christopher said, they might put on 1 tire early and save 3 for about the last 40 laps.
Well, this is lap number 41 of the greatest race in the history of spring, the 34th annual TechNet Spring Sizzler from Jackaroo Stafford Speedway. Caution flag comes out, 2 cars tangle. Jerry Marquis' car almost visually appeared to shut down, like something on the car shut off as he went down the back straightaway. He tried to get down to the bottom of the racetrack. The field of cars that followed cut back across. Mike Stefanik had nowhere to go. There was contact made, and Stefanik backs into the wall at a ton in Joe Brady's number 00. That's a heartbreaking situation for him.
And a new rule being instituted this year in NASCAR at the Whelen Modified Tour. Kind of the lucky dog rule that if you watched a lot of Nextel Cup, the same rule that being used in that series. Kevin Konopka is a lap down as we go under a yellow flag condition here. The cars are parked on the backstretch, but before we go back to green, Kevin Konopka, because he is the fastest car that's not on the lead lap, will be able to get back to the tail end of the lead lap. The free pass system instituted this year in the modified series.
Now let's take a look at our Diamond Vision screen as we take a look at it again. Here's what's happened down the back straightaway. Marquis' car goes to the outside, falters, comes down across the racetrack, and the 2 will touch. The end result, Stefanik hits the wall backwards at a ton. Marquis' car to the left of your screen, and they are now moving the number 00.
Well, Jerry Marquis has brought the Mystic Missile back down to the attention of the crew. They changed 4 tires on the race car behind the wall. Now this is more for cosmetic purposes to fix the rear bumper. Jerry Marquis made hard contact out on the racetrack, as right now the actual bumper has detached from the left side of the race car. The rear bumper, that is, has detached from the mount that goes onto the race car. Tony was talking about tire wear. I looked at the tires that came off of Jerry Marquis' car. Tire wear wasn't bad, but the right rear tire had some chunks missing out of it. I don't know if that was indication from the accident or actually that tire wear might become a problem, that's something we're going to keep our eye on down here on pit road. Ben, back up to you.
Down into turn number 3, the spotters are all ready to anticipate the start in this one. The Whelen Modified Tour NASCAR officials are ready. The starters stand addressing the field now as we're about to go back to green. Will Todd Szegedy be able to pull it off on the restart? They're up to speed off turn number 4. Szegedy, before they get to the line by almost a car length, Matt, down to the bottom of turn 2.
The battle is for second. Hosfeldau backs out of it a bit, coming off of turn 2, leaving second place open for Nevin George.
Donnie Leah goes to the outside. He'll rim ride off turn number 4. The Reg is back to life with Teddy Christopher. That's the battle for the 5th spot. Red number 41 and the 13, the TC10 Christopher, the man in black.
Chuck Hosfeld in car number 50 has started to fade since the restart, as he has lost 3 positions so far. And Reg Ruggiero is coming up. It might be even more trouble for Hosfeld as that car gets a little dancy into turn 4, kind of wobbly. Not a smooth ride so far.
Trouble now down into turn number 1. We've got 4, make that 5 cars that have come together, and a gaggle of cars that are all tangled to the top side of turn number 1. The number 10 of Ed Flemke pulls away. Kopak, Goodale is able to make it out. It looks like the Shivers machine is wedged into the retaining wall on the outside.
I think Jim Storrs in the orange car is also right there,
the
Ben.
21 of Kenny Berry, and I believe it's the 69 car of Tommy Close involved in the altercation. We are on lap number 50.
Eric Burt was involved in that altercation, but was able to drive away in car number 64.
So Kenny Berry off to a very difficult start in 2005. He's the defending series rookie winner of the 2004 season, driving his dad's race car. Kenny is an unbelievable fabricator who has become a good little race car driver as well. And the family owned an operation that builds and fabricates these race cars. They have had a lot of the top name drivers over the years set behind the wheel of their race cars, including Mike Stefanik. There's the Flemke, number 10 on pit road. Let's go to Andy Crane. Andy?
The guy's over the wall right now taking care of the 10 car for Eddie Flemke Jr. Has heavy damage on the right side of the race car. Right side Nerf bar is pushed right up into the cockpit area of where the driver would sit. The car pushed into it, the incident. And right now the right rear tire is going to come off of the race car and making the changes. Other than that, crew says the car's not that bad besides the rub rail damage. We're going to go up pit road now. Doug Kobe is now on pit road. The crew looking on the right front side of that race car. The car going to go up on the jack right now. And they're going to make a change. Fuel going into the 77 car. They're looking at the right front spindle. And it looks to be more severe damage than the 77 team wanted to see. And one crew member just gave it the shutoff sign as Doug Kobe is in trouble down here on pit road.
Ed Flemke started the day turning 50, and by the time this day is over, he might be 150 if his luck doesn't improve.
Incidentally, he headed down on pit road with severe damage to the race car on lap number 50. Play on numbers in this, the greatest race in the history of spring. It was not the Shivers number 23, the yellow car up in turn number 4. It was Doug Colby's car number 77 that is now down on pit road. Right front suspension damage is the story there. That's the car that John Beluit successfully drove to many a top finish here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Off turn number 4, back to the stripe they come. Flemke is back down on pit road, and Szegedy brings them back to the line.
The battle is for second. Here comes Christopher challenging Nevin George.
Christopher on the inside, position number 2. The man in black, Jimmy Galante's race car, prepared by Barry Cannell. Challenges for the lead. Ted Christopher is in command. Lap number 55, leader number 3.
And he made it look easy as he just laser-beamed his way underneath Todd Szegedy.
Nevin George slips up the track just a bit. Good battle going on. Further back in the field, the 35 of Moeller and the 54 of Etheridge have come together. Back to the front. Battle is for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Ruggiero stuck in the outside lane. Hosfeld loose. The car darts right and then darts left. He loses the spot. Ricky Fuller is in 6th. The Polar Beverage number 1.
And Frank Rocco also a victim there as he got caught behind Hosfeld, and yellow comes out as a 4-car Marquis stranded on the backstretch.
Caution flag comes out. Jerry Marquis, the defending race winner, for the 2nd time in this event, brings out a caution. His car comes to a screeching halt down the backstretch just behind the Dodge Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. Lap number 58, 3 leaders so far. Ted Christopher, the winner of event number 1, is the man on top. He leads the event over Todd Zegedy, currently running 2nd with the bowler number 3. Ralph Solom's. George Excavating number 0 for Nevin George sets in 3rd. Atlantic Sprinkler Systems number 41 of Reggie Ruggiero in the 4th spot. And the Leah Auto Group number 18 for Donnie Leah in position number 5. 6th spot currently the Polar Beverage number 1 for Ricky Fuller. 7th position is the famous Al's Hot Dog Machine. Car number 50. The driver of that car, of course, is Chuck Hosfeld. Then in the 8th spot, it is the 31 of Ferrante. 9th position, the 91 of Rocco. And rounding out the top 10, it is the Tony Hirschman machine, we believe, and the 76 of Tommy Bowles. More action coming down on pit road, heading to Andy Crane. Andy.
Well, down here still, Jerry Marquis doing cosmetic work to the Mystic Missile. Also got a chance to talk to Doug Kobe quick. They brought the 77 car behind the wall. I asked him what happened, said just racing incident with Mike Christopher up there in corner number 1. The actual A-frame for the right front actually separated from the race car, and his day looks to be done. That's why I'm going to make my way now down to Jamie the Jet Tomato's pit. Tomato in, routine stop. The car going up on the backside, filling the car full of fuel right now. They're looking over the front part of the race car. Gave the thumbs up to the Jet, off the jack, revs it up, fires the motor, and he'll make it out as Charles Pastriak will win the race off of pit road.
What they are designed to do is be consistent as you go back out on the racetrack. As we go back to green flag racing, we'll give you more on the tires in just a minute. Back to Ben.
Car number 21 was the Lucky Dog recipient and is on the lead lap as we speak. Christopher in command. Look at the reg. He's going to the outside of Nevin George. That is the battle for 3rd. Reggie Ruggiero has gotten his 2nd win. All of a sudden, Todd Zegedy does a little dancing of his own without a partner. That is directly in front of Nevin George and Reggie Ruggiero. Ruggiero goes to the outside, challenges on for 2nd down the back straightaway.
And who said there wasn't going to be an outside groove at the Spring Sizzler as Ruggiero moves into
Trouble
3rd
now.
place?
Mike Christopher goes spinning with car number 79, and that brings out a yellow on lap number 64.
Boy, it has not been a smooth transition so far from Mike Christopher aboard that number 79 car. At the Thompson Icebreaker, they never really got that car straightened out. Had a mediocre finish, and he's en route for another one today.
We are at the 4th caution of the event, 64 laps in the greatest race in the history of spring. Let's now go to Andy Crane on pit road where action is hot and heavy. Andy?
Well, Ben, Tony was talking about tire wear, and tire wear is definitely going to play a story in the CarQuest Spring Sizzler. This is a tire that just came off Jamie the Jet Tomato's car. If we look closely to this tire, you can see chunks of the right rear racing tire starting to come off. Same with Jerry Marquis, and we're only in the early stages, only 50 or so laps in. So tire wear definitely going to start to play the story, as we can see a lot of the leader teams coming over here, taking a look at this tire right now, and relaying that to the drivers, letting them know that tire wear could be a factor before this race goes to the checkered flag.
So maybe that might have a factor in it. What we're going to have to do later on is to talk to the Hoosier guys after the race so we have a better feel for how these tires are going to perform throughout the entire season. But right now, they are a factor. We didn't think they were going to be, but tires are a factor in this race. Back to Ben.
We should point out a couple of key notes here. The 21 car of Kenny Berry was 2 laps down. On the last caution, it was the Lucky Dog and picked up 1 lap. On this caution, it will pick up the 2nd lap and it'll go to the rear of the field. Tony Hirschman is on the lead lap. We want to point that out. You remember earlier he spun down the front straightaway to the inside of the racetrack. So Donnie Leah now pulls out of line with car number 18. We could see some pit action here as the Leah machine moves to the bottom of the racetrack here. Behind him is the number 10 car also. It does look like Leah is planning on making a pit stop. Is this the old possum game, or is it the real deal? Stay tuned. It's going to happen in just a few seconds. Pit road is open. Rene Dupuy returning to the competition. Is Leah going to come down on pit road? The answer is yes. Donnie Leah is heading down pit road. Andy Crane, this could be the story of this event. Leah was among the quickest cars in the first 66 laps.
Absolutely, Ben Dodge is the guys ready to make a right rear tire change and full the car full of Sunoco racing fuel. Tire wear definitely a factor. Donnie Leah is now made aware of this. They want to pit now, maybe a two-tire strategy. They go over the wall. The crew jacks up the Leah racing car number 18. Right side, Hoosier tires coming off, and I can see chunks of tire missing from these tires as well. Right side, brand new tires going back on. Quick adjustment to the right front of the race car. Donnie Leah sitting in the car, instructing the crew what to look for on the tires as he now off the jack, down and away. As we're going to take a look at the tires and get right back to you, see what kind of tire wear that Donnie Leah is having in the Spring Sizzler.
Donnie Leah might have pulled off the Timex timely move of the event by coming in and pitting. He's got a long way to go, but there's plenty of time to get the job done. But for Teddy Christopher and the man that sits outside, Todd Zegedy, those tires have run 67 circuits. We go back to green in this Sizzler event.
But those tires still look in great condition for Christopher as he reinserts himself at the front. Reggie Ruggiero making a move for second.
Ricky Fuller has been waiting in the wings. He gave Reggie Ruggiero a shot to the bumper to make him aware of the fact that he is there. Fuller is coming to the front with a vengeance. He'll try to take over the third spot as Ruggiero is up to second. The Atlantic Sprinkler Systems, number 41, takes over the runner-up spot, but Ruggiero is loose this time, coming off turn number 2. Down to the bottom of turn 3, Fuller moves into the third spot. Christopher, your leader. Reggie Ruggiero in second, and Fuller is also dancing without a partner down into turn 1.
And perhaps the tires are starting to evaporate on that number 3 car, Todd Zegedy, as on that last restart, he goes from second all the way back to 4th.
A car that has moved into the top 7 is car number 15. The TAS Country Homes machine for Zach Sylvester. Sylvester did not time trial well today, started the event in the 26th starting position, and he has already worked his way up to contend among the top 9 cars. Tony Ferrante is a factor, and Tommy Bowles, remember him? 1 year ago, he finished in the top 5. Here comes the Reg, and Teddy's got a handful of race car as they head down to turn 1.
Boy, it's almost like the old days, almost like a meeting of AARP at the front of the field. As 3 guys in their early 50s or late 40s are battling it out for the top spot. Christopher, Ruggiero, and Fuller.
Jerry Marquis is just driving around in front of the field. What a difference a year will make for Marquis, but it is still Christopher, your leader. Here comes the Reg. He'll go to the outside. Can't do it. Pulls it back right into line. Ricky Fuller waiting in that line, and Reggie Ruggiero gives Christopher a shot to the bumper. He lets him know he's there. As they come off turn number 4, Marquis is about to go a lap down. Down the back straightaway, Bo Gunning goes spinning, but we're still under green.
Now you would think that because Ruggiero spent a lot of his time on the outside this year, that he would have used up a lot of his tires. But that doesn't seem the case, as he's almost in Christopher's glove compartment as they head into turn 4.
Meanwhile, 675 clicks off on the big board. Ted Christopher is the man on top. Reggie Ruggiero right there with him. And now Ruggiero makes a bold move to the bottom this time. And Reggie's fans love it. Ted Christopher, already been to victory lane in the SK Modified, been on the podium in the late models. We've got a yellow. Car number 21, Kenny Berry, again involved in another altercation down in turn number 1. And Kenny Berry, who was the lucky dog twice.
The luck runs out, didn't it?
It sure did, as he picks up at the rear of the field, bringing out the 5th caution in this afternoon's event, presented to you by CarQuest and the good folks from TechNet, your professional auto service experts.
I'm looking forward to this restart, Ben, between 2 of the best to ever race in this division. Ted Christopher will be on the bottom, and Reggie Ruggiero in car number 41. Looks like the Reggie of the 90s when he and Mike Stefanik dominated this touring division.
Do some. Definitely tire wear is going to be a factor with the tires that came off Donnie Leah's number 18 car. Same thing as everybody else. Chunks of tire. Outside core to the right rear Hoosier tire is starting to come apart. They're saying they can't get more than 50 good laps before the tire really starts to come apart. This has been circulating up and down pit road right now. All the teams are made aware of it. Rick Fuller's team, I talked to his tire specialist, said they're not wearing as bad as everybody else. But then I just talked to Teddy Christopher's crew, said it's not a problem. So definitely the story of the Spring Sizzler right now has to be the right rear tire for these Tour Modifieds.
So caution flag still displayed in the field, lap number 78 in the CarQuest Spring Sizzler. We are under a caution situation here. Car number 21 brought out the last caution, which was caution number 5. Kenny Berry will pick up at the rear of the field. Mike Moeller is also down in pit road. Frank Rocco is behind the wall, and now Donnie Leah is back in on pit road. Let's go back to Andy Crane.
Well, then I'm heading my way up to Donnie Leah's pit right now as he is bringing the 18 car down to pit road as I quickly move around some Nerf bars from another team. They're making some adjustments on the front of the race car. They're taking, I'm trying to peek in and see, looks like a track on the right or the front of the race car. Now I'm looking at the left side tires. The left side tires doesn't seem to be wearing as much as the right rear. It looks like the right rear only is really becoming the story for these 4 Hoosier Racing tires that's bolted onto Whelen Modifieds. Still, the crew making adjustments to Donnie Leah's car. Leah in there talking to the crew right now. Looks like the adjustments are done. And Leah's going to exit off the pits and not lose a lap.
Tony Hirschman is also coming down pit road, Andy Crane. He'll be heading in your direction in just a moment with car number 48. Other cars on pit road include the 21 of Berry again. And it now appears that car number 69 for Tommy Close is looking to return to the competition here. So work still continues on the Houlihan G. Lopes machine, Bo Gunning's car, also on pit road as we speak, but now Hirschman's car is on pit road. Looks like they're changing right side rubber at this time too, and Donnie Leah is back down on pit road.
But not a bad strategy, Ben, because Donnie Leah was in the rear of the field anyway after making the tire change. He really doesn't have anything to lose by going back onto pit road and making those adjustments.
5th caution to the event has come out here at lap number 79. We are still counting laps. The lucky dog was car number 10. It was 3 laps down. It has picked up 1 of the 3 and has 2 additional laps that he is hoping to pick up.
And who said Eddie wasn't going to get anything for his birthday? He got that free pass right there. So but he's still 2 laps down.
So let's set the field with 80 laps into the record books in this CarQuest Spring Sizzler. There have been 3 different leaders so far. Ted Christopher is the man at the point. Reggie Ruggiero has started this event with car number 41. In the 8th starting spot, it has worked his way up to 2nd. Ricky Fuller with the number 1 car started 12th, currently in the 3rd spot. The number 3 of Todd Szegedy started 2nd, was an early leader, is in the 4th position. Then it's Nevin George, the original leader of the event, started at the point in position number 5. In the 6th spot, it is Chuck Hosfeld. 7th spot is Zach Sylvester. And it appears that we need a push truck to assist the number 69 car that came to a screeching halt at the exit of pit road. Kenny Bouchard is back in the pits with car number 55. He's had a tough day so far. 81 of the 200 laps in the CarQuest Spring Sizzler into the record books. And tires are definitely a factor this afternoon. A lot of the crews did not anticipate that, we're sure, but it has become a major ingredient in what will happen during those final laps of success here in the greatest race in the history of spring.
I don't know if the teams had anticipated that we would be running this race under sunshine, considering the bad weather that we had for the first day and a half of our Spring Sizzler. As somebody in Jerry Marquis' crew called it, the Spring Drizzler. But the sun has come out and maybe that's affected tire wear.
About ready to go back to green. 5th caution is completed and conditions are ready. They head off turn number 4 and work their way back to the line. Green flag is out. Christopher to the advantage. Ricky Fuller and Reggie Ruggiero wheel to wheel and side by side. It's Fuller to take over second. Ruggiero shuffled back to the 4th spot as Todd Zegedy back into 3rd. Ruggerio's got a problem. That car just doesn't hitch up after a caution when those tires cool down.
We've seen it happen to Zegedy on the last restart. It went from 2nd to 4th. Ruggiero went from 2nd to 5th.
Zach Sylvester, runner-up in the Icebreaker event, is now pressuring Chuck Hosfeld for the 6th spot. Sylvester moves to the bottom, shuffles Hosfeld up the racetrack. Give car number 15 for Sylvester position number 6.
And remember, Zach has fresher rubber than Hosfeld does, and maybe he uses then to his advantage to infiltrate the top 6.
He has come from 26 to move into the 6th spot. Trouble now, we've got another car around. It is Kevin Goodale. Flemke makes contact. Bo Gunning and Kenny Berry involved in the altercation. Berry is able to pull away under his own power, but it was Kevin Goodale who had a difficult time, lost it directly in front of Flemke, and Bo Gunning got on the brakes hard to try to avoid the situation and got right in the middle of all of that.
What do you think, Ben? Could we see some activity on pit road? Maybe Ruggiero perhaps, or Todd Zegedy? It'll be
sure
interesting.
Would seem like that situation could occur as car number 41. As the tires cooled down, it appeared that on the restart, it became a real problem for the Reg. Tony?
Like he was standing on it and the tires were spinning, but the car wasn't moving forward. Like he was losing bite on the. But you also noticed the 13 kind of drifted up and got real wide there for a little bit of second going into turn 1. I want to comment on the 21 car, Ken Berry. They worked really, really hard to get that car back together, and they were adjusting like mad earlier today because the car was not handling right. He said it was wicked loose, and he really had to hang on to it. And it's obvious they're still chasing it because he spun around 3 times so far in this race, and we're only 87 laps in.
We should point out in the first event of the series this season, that car was totally destroyed. It was completely wrecked in the final circuits of the event. They worked all week long to get it back together. And then, because of the problem created by the weather conditions, they didn't really have any laps in the race car at all. They ran maybe about a half a dozen laps in each practice session and came out in time trial. So it has been a tough time for them, but you have to give them credit. They keep digging and digging and digging, and that's what it takes to be a front runner. And that is the defending rookie winner of the 2004 season. So Rene Dupuy's been in and out of pit road as well, and Flemke's team isn't about to give up either, Tony.
A lot of work on the car. The car was hit pretty hard, and you can see as he comes out of turn 4, the car really wants to jump out from underneath him, so he's working very hard in order to maintain that car. Here they come into the pits.
Here they come down on pit road. Car number 50, Chuck Hosfeld. Zach Sylvester, the number 15 car. 31 of Ferrante. Shivers, the number 23 car. 35 of Moeller. Let's see what's going to happen here. Is now the 50 of Hosfeld. Right rear tire, the story there. Zach Sylvester, the TAS Country Homes team. Jack up the right side of the car. And a right rear is installed in car number 15. Doug Chenard, the crew chief on that race car. Phil Moran at the other end of pit road, making a track adjustment. They changed the right side rubber, and they are working on the left rear. Sylvester makes it out. Hosfeld will follow. Bo Gunning, Ferrante, and Shivers with car 23. Tommy Bowles down on pit road. Kenny Bouchard is back on pit road. 88 laps. We'll go to Andy Crane.
Well, guys, hot shoe. Chuck Hosfeld just brought the 50 car down to pit road. It was a 4-tire stop. 4 tires were changed, and they made a quick turn on the left rear track bar to give them a little bit more forward bite off the corners with the race car. So Hosfeld, they say they're loaded for bear and they're ready to go, as that was the only trip down pit road that Chuck Hosfeld was going to make with car number 50.
Laps on the scoreboard. Tony, let's take the time to reset the field. Ted Christopher, the Mystique Motorsports number 13, sits out in front. Rick Fuller, the Polar Beverages Chevrolet, sits second. And how about the drive by the man in the number 3, Todd Zegedy, coming back up from North Carolina for just this race. and he's putting on quite a show.
Yeah, Todd is an amazing driver to be able to jump in that car with a little bit of adjustments to the car, able to make it perform the way it has. Devin George with a good performance in the 0 car as well. And the 41, the Reg, he was really, really up there challenging for the lead. Now he's got to work his way back up through the field because he has several cars in front of him. As we are doubled up, ready to go back. We're going to go to Matt. We're going to go to Matt now, so we'll switch over to Matt.
And Ben, were you surprised a little bit that Ruggiero didn't come in for tire change that time? Or I guess they're saving it until about 120, 130. However, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes these races at Stafford, as Jerry Marquis pointed out, these long-distance races, there are a lot of cautions early, and then the second half, there's a lot of green flag laps. So you could get burned by waiting.
Well, it appeared on the last restart that Ruggiero had a problem until those tires got heated back up. Will that be the story in this one? We're about to find out in just a moment as we're about to go back to green. Remember, Ruggiero is not a regular now on the tour. His strategy and his team do not have the same background as most of the other teams who do this on a weekly basis when it comes to touring competition. Green flag is back out, and it is Fuller who puts the pressure on the master, Ted Christopher, at the point. Here comes Todd Zegedy back into command, and Reggie Ruggiero is looking racy to the bottom. He moves down underneath Ricky Fuller. Mike Christopher's also coming to the front of the class with car number 79.
Ruggiero looks a lot secure on the bottom groove than he did on the last restart when he was forced to start on the outside.
Good racing at the front of the field as now the Hirschman machine is working its way to content up front.
Tony Hirschman, he had to make a couple of pit stops early on, but Tony Hirschman, it took him a long time to learn how to drive at Stafford, but he has learned it, and he has become a factor in almost every series race in the last 3 or 4 years.
A little further back in the field, you'll discover that Donnie Leah, along with Zach Sylvester, are also starting to come to the front of this field. Remember, both of those teams pitted on pit road. They made chassis adjustments, and they put on right side rubber. Will that be the story in this one? Ted Christopher is your leader out in front. They have not come down pit road as yet. Was that their strategy initially, Matt? What do you think?
I think Ted Christopher wanted to wait as long as he possibly could to pit. It was a strategy that worked for him in the opening race of the season, and if the strategy works, why tinker with it?
Barry Cannell is a master of finding a combination that is easy on tires, and he has done just that.
You know, it's going to be interesting to watch the 18 of Leah and the 15 of Sylvester try to come up through the field. Sylvester's in a pretty good position. If he can just wait for the 18 of Leah to open the holes, and all he has to do is follow him, like a running back following a pulling lineman.
Well, Zach Sylvester has learned a great deal running this touring series. He has become very patient. And for a young driver, that's a very important ingredient to have in your resume. He now is right there in the back row from Donnie Leah, Chris Kopeck directly in front of the Leah car. But as they work their way off turn number 4, it's still Ted Christopher in command. Todd Zegedy still in second, Reggie Ruggiero in the 3rd spot. 4th is Ricky Fuller. 5th position, we have been told car number 79 is down at least 1 lap for Mike Christopher, so 5th will still be Nevin George. Then we believe it's the 99 of Jamie DeMano, the 48 machine, followed by the 5 of Pastriak, and then we go to Chris Kopeck, Donnie Leah, and Zach Sylvester. Sylvester down underneath Leah as they work their way off turn 2. This time, when they come to the line, halfway down and halfway to go.
And Ted Christopher halfway toward becoming the 2nd driver to win 4 Spring Sizzlers. There's Donnie Leah trying to charge his way through to the front with Zach Sylvester behind him. Ben, after the icebreaker, when Zach Sylvester said he's only just turned 21, I almost fell out of the press box because he's been around so long. I swear he was about 26, 27. But he's only 21 years old.
He started his racing career in quarter midgets, went to the Riverside Park Speedway at 13 years of age. He won the very first race in his first full-bodied race car that he competed with. From then on, it has been a success story in late models, pro stocks, SK modifieds, and it's just the beginning. Zach Sylvester has a lot of the right ingredients that'll make people pay attention during this season on the Wheel and Modified Tour. He goes down underneath Chris Kopak. Zach Sylvester, Chris Kopak, wheel-to-wheel down at turn 3.
And Sylvester trying to complete the move, and he succeeds, and will take Tony Ferrante with him. So remember just a few laps ago, the 15 and the 18 were running side by side. Now Sylvester has been able to put some distance between himself and the Donnie Leah car.
Chuck Hosfeld is also working his way around Kopak. He'll pick up a spot there, but it is still TC Ted Christopher, your leader. Right there still in second, the number 3 car for Todd Szegedy, and the red is all over the back bumper of Szegedy, but still unable to get around as he'll try to put the pressure on off turn 4.
Boy, I don't know what's in the water that Reggie Ruggiero is drinking, but he must have got it from the Fountain of Youth, because he has really looked impressive. You know, it was 20 laps ago where it looked like those tires might be kaput on that car, but maybe they had some regeneration, because he is really pressuring Todd Szegedy for second.
Well, it's the cool down period that gave Ruggiero a problem on the last restart, but that is no longer the case, because the more laps they run, that car comes back to life and becomes very consistent. But Christopher has been flawless at the point since taking over the lead with car number 13.
Ricky Fuller has to be very happy with his performance so far in that one car. It's been 2 kind of down seasons for Ricky Fuller, but he has been among the elite for the entire race. The plot thickens at the front of the field, however. Christopher still has a narrow lead over Szegedy. That's the way they've been going at it for about the last 15 laps.
The field is starting to string out just a bit, and that's usually what you see around the halfway point in an event of this distance. But Ted Christopher, one of 3 leaders in this event so far. Nevin George, the first leader, then Todd Szegedy when Christopher took over the lead. Ruggiero has been waiting in the wings in the 3rd spot. Ricky Fuller has come to life and then back down just a bit. Currently sets the 4th spot. But I would have to say, Matt, that this is definitely a good day so far for Ricky Fuller. He is running the way he used to in Sizzler's past here at Stafford.
Remember the most exciting Sizzler victory that Fuller won back in 1999? 2 laps to go in the final 2 laps of the race. Ricky Fuller came out of the pits. He said, I looked at the laps on the scoreboard, I looked at the 2 guys in front of me, and I started to count the money.
And count he did. Donnie Leah, who was in and out of pit road on the last caution on 2 or 3 occasions, is now really struggling in the back of the pack, and that's surprising. Chuck Hosfeld, since he pitted, is not coming to the front with the same ease that he did earlier. But for Zach Sylvester, he's running very quick lap and is now just out of the top 10. So keep your eyes on Sylvester.
Yeah, he's about the only guy of the drivers who made early pit stops for tires that have really run stronger after the pit stop than they did before. Everybody else, the guys you mentioned, have struggled since making the change.
Todd Szegedy is just literally running in the tire tracks of Teddy Christopher. And Christopher is now changing his line, Matt. As he goes down into turn number 1, he's trying to guard the bottom of the racetrack. As he comes out of the 2nd turn, he comes out wide, so doesn't Szegedy, but then he'll bring it back down and guard his lane. He knows that Todd Szegedy and Reggie is there, and I think those tires are now starting to show their wear, Matt, on lap number 116.
Well, it's hard to keep the car pinned to the bottom of the track when you're on old tires, because the tendency of the car is to drift up, and it's hard to get the grip to keep that car down when your tires have 117 laps on them.
Good battle shaping up for the 9th and 10th spot, as Zach Sylvester and Nevin George go at it. And Sylvester goes around Nevin George almost like he stopped on the racetrack. That'll give Sylvester the 9th spot.
That was a power move by Zach.
Christopher, Szegedy, and Ruggiero. Fuller all by himself in the 4th spot. Christopher, we believe, still 1 lap down. So 5th would be the 99 of Tomeno. 6th would be Hirschman. 7th spot is Pastriak. 8th spot is Sylvester. 9th spot is Nevitt George. And 10th is Tony Ferrante. Just out of the top 10 is car number 50 for Chuck Osveld.
Oh, car against the barrier in between turns 1 and 2. Looks like Ricky Fuller.
Car number 1, Ricky Fuller. The car just darted out of line and slammed the Armco retaining wall. Fuller fires the car back up, and he will drive away, and that is amazing after the hit that car took to the wall.
That was a
between
Richter
turns
scale
1 and
hit.
2. We should also point out that car number 4 for Jerry Marquis had been sent back down on pit road because it was not up to speed. So Marquis' car was brought back down on pit road by the Whelen Modified Tour officials for not being up to speed before the caution came out.
What do you think? Is this when Christopher, Zegedy, and Ruggiero go in for tires? The red flag is still out. Pit road is not open. But when the green flag comes out, we'll see if Christopher decides to go to pit. It's about that time, lap 121.
Let's go down to pit road. Andy Crane is going to be there to check out the situation with the Polar Beverages number 1, flat right side tires.
Well, Rick Fuller has brought the race car down to pit road, and heavy damage to the right side of the race car. The right front is definitely flat on the Polar Beverages car. There's a whole lot of scrambling going on pit road right now. As you can see, all the top teams, their crews starting to get up on the wall, waiting for their drivers to come in. We're going to take a look at real quick on the right rear tire of the Polar Beverages car to see what kind of tire wear Rick Fuller is having. Of course, he was one of those drivers up with the lead pack right now. As we're going to see, as Rick Fuller motioning something to the crew right now, something on the front side of the race car, as getting knocked around by the crew down here. As right now, we are waiting for the leaders to head down pit road right now. Ted Christopher should lead the dance marathon down pit road to the attention to their crew. The pit boards are out, they are waving as both Ted Christopher, Todd Zegedy, and Mike Christopher all set to come down pit road to see their crew to get brand new tires. Ted Christopher is now down in his pit box. The crew over the wall. Right side tires are going to come off. Also the same story for Todd Zegedy. Zegedy, though, is blocked in a little bit by Mike Christopher. Fuel going into all these race cars. Sunoco race fuel. As right now, Ted Christopher's crew quickly around to the left side of the race car. 4 tires, all cars down here, 4 tires, as tire wear definitely an issue. Christopher stop, almost done, down off the jack, revving the motor, and Ted Christopher is going to win the race off pit road. Now our attention turns to second place running Todd Zegedy. Zegedy getting a left rear tire, only 3 tires. Mike Christopher goes off. Zegedy's going to fire the motor. And now Todd Zegedy is off. Reggie Ruggiero now fires down here. So Ted Christopher's crew.
And the fuel can popped out, but he jerked the can right out of his mechanic's arm who was putting fuel into the 79 car.
Well, maybe that's the bit of teamwork that hasn't been in place yet for the Christopher team. New driver with the Roger Hill Hillbilly Racing team, and you don't see that very often on the Whelen Modified Tour. But Ben, I think it cost Mike Christopher big time that time.
Well, it is nice to see a former champion of this series, Jamie the Jet Tomeno, in the lead at the front. Now, don't count out Tony Hirschman. He's the defending series champion, currently setting in second. He spun early in the event. He is on the same lap as the leaders and currently sets in second. The silent one is coming to the front of the field. And what about Zach Sylvester? Will the strategy of the young team led by Doug Chenard pay off? They pitted early. Among the cars that pitted in that group were the 50 and the 18. For Zach Sylvester, he was able to thread his way through traffic in an easier fashion than both Chuck Osveld and Donnie Leah. Will all of that pay off? 125 laps compete. Let's go down to Andy Crane.
Well, Ben, a story might be developing for the driver sitting in spot number 2, our defending Modified Series champion. Remember that the 48 of Tony Hirschman came down pit road some laps ago. He had a flat left rear tire, but they changed all 4 since he was down pit road, figured get the stop out of the way. They're thinking now, their strategy is tire wear for Tony Hirschman isn't as bad as everybody else, and Tony Hirschman is planning now to go the whole way, go all 200 laps now, or the remaining laps of the 200 lap event on the set of tires that he has. So the drivers that just made a stop now have to race their way back up through the field as our defending champion, Mr. Consistency we call him, Tony Hirschman, set up now, ready to go for the run to the checkers.
Ben, at the season opening icebreaker, Tony Hirschman was the only one of the front runners who didn't change tires, and in the last 2 laps he fell from 2nd to 11th. So a different kind of strategy for Tony Hirschman. Meanwhile, probably the heartwarming moment is at the front of the field, car number 99. The 1990 series champion, Jamie Tomeno, has started more modified tour races than any other driver, about 430 starts for Jamie Tomeno. Kind of the Iron Man of this series, and right now, can that iron turn to gold if he can keep that lead for about 74 more laps?
Wow, this event has had so many interesting things that have popped up in the first 126 circuits, like Mike Christopher on that last pit stop. Literally, his gas man was putting fuel in the race car when Mike Christopher stepped on the gas, took the gas container with him, literally dragged it, dropped still on pit road as he came back out, but we're back to green off turn number 4, and Tomeno's leading him down into turn 1.
Right there, Tony Hirschman looking down low, making a power move on the bottom.
Hirschman in second, Zach Sylvester is third, Tony Ferrante. Good run for him this afternoon. Chuck Hosfeld, his surface back among the top 5.
Donnie Leah right behind him.
Here comes Hirschman to the inside. Tony Hirschman wheel to wheel down the back straightaway. Position number 1 to car number 48. Here comes Zach Sylvester to the bottom, the TAS Country Homes machine. Just took a big piece of real estate out of position number 2. Sylvester up to second. Ferrante in the 4th spot. Hosfield into position number 5. Donnie Leah is 6th. Tommy Bowles is 7th.
And Ted Christopher is 10th on the racetrack. So he has gained a lot of ground since his pit stop.
70 laps remain in this event. It is still a battle at the point. Now Christopher is coming to the front with a vengeance.
Well, he just went around Greg Shivers like Shivers was driving in mud and Christopher was driving on asphalt.
Remember, Christopher had more laps on the same set of tires than any of the cars that are now in front of him. Before he made the pit stop, they all pitted early. Their strategy was different. And as you pointed out, Matt, earlier, Hirschman's strategy of being able to save the race car, come on strong at the end, has always paid off here in an event of this distance, 200 circuits.
Tony Hirschman has had a lot of big victories in his career, 4 series championships, but he has never won the Spring Sizzler. Will today be the day he fills out that missing hole in his resume?
Time holds the answer to the question there, but it is still a very strong Ted Christopher. He is the fastest car on the racetrack. Get your stopwatch out and time Ted Christopher. At this point in the event, the times usually start to slow, but that is not the case here.
The best case with Christopher, Ben, you don't really need a stopwatch. You can see with the naked eye that he is the fastest car on the Stafford facility.
Todd Zegedy just went around a couple of cars there with an unbelievable move. He goes to the outside of Lemke, and it appears that Zegedy is also coming back to the front, and his partner in crime becomes Reggie Ruggiero.
So Ruggiero trying to take advantage of the holes that Zegedy will open up. Christopher made another power move to get underneath Tommy Bowles. Next on his hit list will be the 31 of Tony Ferrante.
This time when they come back to the stripe, 137 laps now complete. Let's set the field for you. Tony Hirschman is your leader. Zach Sylvester, car number 15, setting in second. Jamie Tomeno is third. Chuck Hospel sitting in the 4th spot. Donnie Leah is 5th. 6th is Tony Ferrante. 17th is Ted Christopher. 8th position is the 76th of Tommy Bowles. 9th is Zegedy, and 10th is Reggie Ruggiero.
Tony Hirschman has 2 sons involved in racing, and Jerry Marquis has been black flagged again for not being up to speed. So wouldn't you think you would say that Jerry Marquis wouldn't be up to speed at Stafford, but that's been the case this afternoon as he is back on pit road.
Not off to a good start driving Bob Garbarino's race car. They did not have success in event number 1. And the story is the same. A very talented personal driver who won this event 1 year ago.
Maybe Tomato gets around the lap car with Tommy close as he hangs on to 3rd. Ted Christopher really hasn't gained much ground as the gap remains consistent between himself and Tony Ferrante. Now, under last year's tires, you could go fast with him for about 20 laps and then the advantage went away. We'll see what happens with the 2005 model. But the brightest blip on the radar screen continues to be Tony Hirschman in car number 48. Looks like Zach Sylvester might be gaining on him. Remember, I think the best thing Zach Sylvester has going for him, his best piece of equipment, is a head on his shoulders. In the last race, in the icebreaker, he waited until the final 30 laps to give it everything he had. Do you think he's using the same game plan today?
Could be the story. Zach will tell you his strongest 2 racetracks are Thompson Speedway and the Stafford Motor Speedway. Why is that? He competed and has ran the most laps here of any of the tracks in the Touring Series circuit. 5 different leaders so far, and of course, Tony Hirschman became leader number 5. Zach Sylvester waiting in the wings. They come up on Ricky Fuller. Wasn't long ago that Fuller was a factor among the top 3 cars.
Now he's fighting for his lead lap life. The gap is closed between 3rd and 4th as Jamie Tomato has some company, and his name is Chuck Hospel.
Hospel now works its way to the outside. Tomato tries to keep it nice and low, but here comes Hospel. Can't do it. Thinks twice of it, now makes a bid for it to the inside. Changes his lane. Great crisscross racing there, Matt.
Oh, who could do it better than Hospel? It was exciting, but when it was all over, Tomato still had 3rd place.
The leader, still Hirschman, comes off turn number 4. This is lap number 147. Zach Sylvester still setting in the runner-up spot. 3rd is still Tomato. Hospel in the 4th spot, and 5th spot still remains Donnie Leah.
You know, Zach Sylvester may only be 21 years old, but I think those are dog years as far as Sylvester is concerned, because they might have to call his birth certificate in for an audit, because I think his racing years, he's a lot older and more mature than 21.
A little further back in the field, Christopher has just went around Tony Ferrante.
Boy, it took him a while to do it.
It sure did, as now Christopher's car is definitely not as strong as it was when he put the new rubber on just a few laps ago, Matt.
Well, then again, we don't know if he is really pushing it yet. He will still have 50 laps to go when he hits the stripe. And for Christopher, remember, he's come back to first on a normal Friday night here at Stafford, and those races are only 40 laps long. So 50 laps is plenty of time for Christopher to track down Tony Hirschman.
What a great battle going on between Tommy Bowles and Todd Zegedy. Zegedy was able to use a lap traffic situation to his advantage to pick up the spot. He now moves down underneath Ferrante. Zegedy is also working his way back to the front of the field. That currently is the battle for the 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Reggie Ruggiero now works his way and takes over the 10th spot with car number 41.
Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Tony Hirschman continues to have a cozy lead over Sylvester, but Sylvester's still within striking distance.
They come off turn number 4. It still remains Hirschman. His consistent times. We mentioned earlier in this event how that he is able to run lap after lap the same times. He doesn't wear out the race car at all, and that has given him the advantage of becoming a good champion. And he's looking to be a repeat champion. But there is heavy traffic up ahead, Matt.
And lap traffic sometimes give it, sometimes it will hurt you. We'll see how it affects Tony Hirschman. So far in this race, the lap cars have stayed down low and given the leaders plenty of room to operate. But Sylvester is starting to crowd our leader.
It's time to pick and choose. They come up on the Ed Close machine. Hirschman makes it by, and so doesn't Sylvester. Jim Storis, the number 47 car, and the 51 of Kanopka. Storis moves to the inside to give room to the leader. Zach Sylvester, the story is the same, as both Hirschman and Sylvester now have nothing but a clean, clear racetrack ahead of them for a good quarter of a mile.
Sylvester continues to be like gum on the bottom of Hirschman's shoe. No matter what Tony tries to do, he can't shake free of him.
Donnie Leah, along with Chuck Hosfeld, also doing their part. Jamie Tomato still sitting in the 3rd spot. Hosfeld in the 4th position. 5th is Leah. 6th spot is Teddy Christopher. 7th spot is Todd Zegedy. 8th is Tommy Bowles. 9th is Reggie Ruggiero. And 10th is Tony Ferrante.
And Ted Christopher might be in 6th place, Ben, but he's about a full straightaway behind Tony Hirschman. He almost needs a Hubble telescope in his car to see the 48. So if a Christopher is going to win his 4th Sizzler, he is really going to have to pick up his pace for the final 40 laps.
Look at the battle of the red between Reggie Ruggiero and the 76 of Tommy Bowles. Ruggiero now moves underneath the lap car of David Etheridge. Bowles goes to the outside, and Bowles will lose the spot.
Well, that was a classic move by Ruggiero, wasn't it? And he used Dave Etheridge as a pick to get some breathing room between himself and Tommy Bowles.
161 laps into the record books. Hirschman and Sylvester out in front and literally pulling away from the competition here. But for Jamie Tomato in the 3rd spot and Chuck Hosfeld, they've got nothing but traffic ahead of them to get in contention with our 1st and 2nd place cars.
And then Sylvester does have a little bit fresher rubber than Hirschman does, but I don't know at this stage of the race, is it going to be fresh enough to be much of an advantage?
Meanwhile, Reggie Ruggiero is starting to close up the gap. His next target becomes the 13 car of Teddy Christopher.
Boy, would that be something if Reggie Ruggiero can track down Christopher. Boy, regardless of what happens the rest of the way, it's been fun to watch Reggie Ruggiero in action today. It looks like it's back in the 90s. Reggie Ruggiero is on top of his game.
165 now is being shown on the board. Tony Hirschman still in command. Zach Sylvester runs with him. Then there's about a full straightaways distance between 2nd and 3rd, which is Jamie Tomato, the Perth Amboy Spring number 99. And then we go to the 50 car of Chuck Hosfeld. Donnie Leah is next in the 5th spot. 6th position, Todd Zegedy. 7th position is Ted Christopher. 8th spot, Jerry Marquis. 9th spot, Tommy Bowles. And 10th is still Tony Ferrante.
And it was only a few laps ago that Christopher was on top of the 3 car like a bumper sticker. An indication that Christopher, he had a good fast 20 laps right after his tire change, but it really hasn't worked for him as he's lost a lot of ground since he's returned.
Car number 16, Chris Kopech, is about to go a lap down. He's had a tough day, being on the money and out of the money. This is his first visit back after a year layoff.
You know, a lot of people thought that Tony Hirschman might retire from weekly series racing. after he won his 4th championship, but he has decided to come back, and it looks like nothing's changed. He's still the same solid competitor that he's been on this series for the last 18 years.
Battle right now. Teddy Christopher to the inside. The fans are loving it. As Reggie Ruggiero goes to the outside, the Reg moves alongside. Ted Christopher loses the spot. Reggie Ruggiero is a man with a mission.
Wow, what a whirlwind move by Reggie as he got Christopher the hard way on the outside. Well, you know, not too many drivers today have run well on the outside groove. Reggie Ruggiero is one who has had some success running on the high side.
It appears that now Hirschman is starting to pull away a bit from Zach Sylvester, but they are now back in heavy lap traffic as Hirschman's next target to put a lap down becomes Doug Cole. The 10 of Ed Blenke, 54 of Etheridge, and the 1 car of Ricky Fuller.
So he's got a little cushion between himself and the 15 as the 77 is right there. And Hirschman will go underneath the 10 car of Eddie Flemke Jr. Now we'll try to go to the outside of Dave Etheridge. So it looks like Hirschman still has a lot of grip in that 48 race car.
It appears that Sylvester is starting to show a little bit of wear now as Hirschman starts to motor away. Sylvester is still waiting in the wings, but the clock is ticking. 25 laps to go in the CarQuest Spring Sizzler.
And I think it shows you a veteran driver like Hirschman learned from his mistake. He didn't pit in the season opener. It cost him a potential victory. So this time he pitted early, changed all 4 tires, got track position. And once you give a guy like Tony Hirschman track position, you're just about, the next thing you're going to give him is the trophy.
Overcoming a situation earlier where he would spin and almost go down a lap.
Right out of turn 4.
Hirschman was able to come back to the front, get his mindset back into play, and since taking over the lead, he has really not been challenged at all, Matt.
No, Zach Sylvester was there for a while, and you figure, well, maybe Zach with a little bit of fresher tires would be able to mount a challenge. But Christopher has had, or Hirschman has had a joyride for about the last 40 laps.
He sure has, as they work their way back to the line. A little further back in the field, we take a look. At a battle going on between the number 99 car for Jamie Tomeno and Chuck Hosfeld. And now throw Donnie Leah and Todd Zegedy into that mix, and that's a real battle, man.
Yeah, 4 cars almost could fit under a beach umbrella. But Zegedy trying to go underneath the 18 of Leah. Meanwhile, what do you think? Tomeno and the 50 of Hosfeld have run side by side for about the last 60 laps, and Tomeno's been able to keep holding him off.
He sure has. His Hosfeld right there glued to his back bumper. Donnie Leah and Todd Zegedy also right there, and nobody's letting anyone gain any extra track position here. Hosfeld gives Tomeno a shot to the bumper. Here comes Hosfeld. The 50 car is down underneath Tomeno. They touch. Wow. Tomeno had that car literally sideways, and Chuck Hosfeld was still able to hold on. Then Leah comes back to life. So doesn't Todd Zegedy.
Now Ruggiero trying to go around Jamie Tomeno and pick up a spot, and he will pull off the move.
Etheridge becomes the pick car at the bottom. And here comes Leah to the outside. Leah takes over the 3rd spot. Drifts up the racetrack, and Hosfeld's got it back again. Leah is in trouble.
Well, put the SOS out of the 18 car. But a good move by Hosfeld to get a third place position back. And right there with him is Todd Zegedy in car number 3.
And behind Todd Zegedy, guess who? The Reg. He's back among the top 5 cars.
Boy, he's been as far up as second place, and now he is threatening to invade the top 4 once again.
185 laps are complete.
Tony had a little bit of difficulty that time getting around the lap car, Tony Ferrani. And Zach Sylvester, the lead is not as big as it once was, but it's still pretty substantial. Remember, Ben, the caution flag can give you something, and it can take away. It took away from Zach Sylvester in the opening race of the season. Maybe the caution can come out now and maybe save him.
Car number 3, Todd Zegedy, has just moved into the 3rd spot. The tail that wags the dog becomes the Reg. The red number 41, give Ruggiero position number 4.
And that dog is a greyhound because Ruggiero just unloaded underneath the 50 car of Hosfeld.
Hosfeld now has to settle for 5th. Leah is 6th. Tomeno is 7th. Christopher is 8th. And Nevin George sets in the 9th spot with Tommy Bowles in position number 10. This time, when they come back to the line, 10 laps to go.
And I think, Ben, as long as this race stays caution-free, it is going to take a monumental effort for Sylvester.
Trouble now. Mike Muller goes spinning off turn number 4. And this event is about to change.
And as soon as we said Hirschman wanted it to go caution-free, out came the yellow. It will be a single file restart. Remember, because we're inside the final 10 laps, the lucky dog will not be used, so nobody will be able to pick up a lap. It'll just be decided among the front runners, especially Tony Hirschman and Zach Sylvester, and kind of a bit of reprieve, Ben, for Todd Zegedy in car number 3 and Reggie Ruggiero in 41, as they get a chance to see Tony Hirschman up close and personal. They haven't seen him for a while.
Well, there is no question about it. There have been so many mini battles going on throughout this event, but Reggie Ruggiero with the number 41 car finds himself back up on the board, and don't count out the Reg. He is hungry, and his fans just love to see him come back here like days of old and show everybody he is alive and well and is a contender in open wheel modified racing. And he has done just that here today, scrapping his way back to the front of this field.
And Ben, in the 20-year history of this division, I know you've seen a lot of these races, who has had more come from behind victories in the final laps than Ruggiero has?
That is true, and so close to call when we see Ruggiero, who is right there now with the 3 car. And that, of course, has been Todd Zegedy, who's just been flawless all afternoon as well. Down on pit road, this is amazing. Donnie Leah and Nevin George are on pit road. They were cars well planted among the top 8 positions here.
Now, why would they be pitting, Ben, at this late juncture of the race?
It is interesting. They're looking at right side rubber on the number 18 car. Right side rubber on Nevin George's car. Let's go to Andy Crane. Andy?
Guys, it's definitely the right side tires that are becoming a factor for these guys in the late stages. Donnie Lee and Nevin George really didn't have anything to lose. They were really not gaining any positions, so they figured they come in, change right side tires, and then make a mad dash to the front of the field in the final remaining laps of the CarCrest Spring Sizzler.
Mike Bowler appears headed back onto pit road in car number 35. Mike Bowler, another former SK Modified competitor at Stafford Motor Speedway.
The clock is ticking. There were 8 laps left in the greatest race in the history of spring, and what an incredible afternoon it has been here at Jackaroo Stafford Motor Speedway. The story in this event is going to shake down. There are several different combinations, but among them being Tony Hirschman, the defending series winner. They called this series then the Featherlight Modified Series. Now it is called the Whelen Modified Tour. The Camco Key Materials number 48 is your leader. The youngster that finished in the runner-up spot, driving the Sylvester Country Homes, number 15, Zach Sylvester, is currently setting in second. Deja vu, Matt. A similar situation took place in the first event of the series when a lapped automobile spun and brought out a late event caution. Zach Sylvester lost that race by a bumper. Will that be the story today? Stay tuned, because the men that followed are just as tough as Teddy Christopher was in round number 1.
I can figure out the strategy for Tony Hirschman. Keep that car low, as close to the white line as possible. If Zach Sylvester is going to win the Spring Sizzler, it's going to have to be him making a pass on the outside. Tony Hirschman being around for as long as he has, I don't think he's going to leave the door to the bottom groove open.
We talked a little bit earlier about the importance of tires, saving your tires, having the right setup to go the distance. For Tony Hirschman, he has done just that. For Zach Sylvester and his young team, they have also done that. But the story of the 3 cars that followed, including the 3 of Todd Szegedy, the 41 of Reggie Ruggiero, and Chuck Hosfeld with car number 50, they have pitted at an entirely different time in this event. Those 3 competitors have a few less laps, not many, than the cars that run in position number 1 and 2. With 194 laps, the clock is still ticking. We are about ready to go back to green. They are single file. Among the cars still in the top 10 include Jamie Tomeno, setting in position number 6. Ted Christopher, Tommy Bowles, Charlie Pastriak, and Donnie Lea, the man that just pitted. Let's see what's going to happen when they come back to the line. The green flag is out, single file, and Hirschman runs away.
And Sylvester did not come up to speed, almost got together with the Szegedy car.
Look at the wrench. He's on the outside of Chuck Hosfeld. Here comes Teddy Christopher. He'll challenge for the 6th spot. Tomato stuck in the outside lane. Christopher moves up to position number 6. Hirschman leads him back to the line.
A little contact between Ruggiero and Hosfeld to open up the room for Reg. Ruggiero has moved back into 4th place.
And if Reggie can do it, so can Ted Christopher. Christopher follows him through. He'll take over the 5th spot. Out in front, it's still Hirschman. Sylvester still running in 2nd. The Reg isn't done yet. As they come on turn number 4, he'll set his sights on Todd Szegedy down at turn 1.
Ruggiero would love to sit on the podium in the Spring Sizzler. Here comes Christopher down low, trying to take the spot away from Reg. Ruggiero says, and gunning is spinning. He has come to a stop.
On turn number 4, the 2-lap marker is given. We're not going to yellow. It is still Hirschman in command. Trouble now. Off turn 4, Donnie Lea tags the wall hard. We're under yellow.
Out.
Donnie Lea hits at a ton on lap number 198 to bring out the caution in this action-packed event. For the CarQuest Spring Sizzler, Tony Hirschman took advantage of things on the last restart, pulled away by 4 car lengths over Zach Sylvester in 2nd.
Well, we saw Donnie Lea take the steering wheel off of that car. As our safety crew quickly comes to the assistance of Donnie Lea.
9 cautions in the events during the course of 198 laps. The story this afternoon in the greatest race in the history of spring, the first leader of the event for 28 circuits was car number 0 for Nevin George. Then on lap number 29, it was car number 3 for Todd Szegedy to take the lead. Ted Christopher moved to the front by lap number 56 and held on to lap 122. Then it was car number 99 for the Jet to take over the lead. Tony Hirschman was back in command on lap number 129.
And this race cannot finish under yellow as we go to Andy.
Well, so much for Donnie Lea trying to get the advantage with tires with 10 laps remaining, as it looked like a little bit of contact as he was racing for position. Hard contact. The car, almost like Todd Owen in the SK Modified feature event, started to climb the wall a little bit, but then came back down on all 4s. Good thing is Donnie is getting out of the car. He dropped the window net. He is okay, but a tough break for the Long Island native Donnie Lea, as he was one of the hot contenders here coming into the CarQuest Spring Sizzler, but right now his day is going to end on the hook a couple laps too early.
You know, Ben, you look at the past champions of the Spring Sizzler, you see a lot of great names for the history of this sport. The one name you won't see is Tony Hirschman. He's won 4 modified championships. He was voted 2 years ago as one of the top 10 modified drivers of all time, but this is a big victory that's escaped him throughout his career. Will today be the day he can finally say, I'm in the same boat with Richie Evans and with Fred DeCero and Eddie Flemke Sr. and Mike Stefanik and Greg Sachs winning the Spring Sizzler. Jimmy Spencer, the '84 champion. The very best have carved their name on the trophy. Can Tony Hirschman hold off Zach Sylvester and do it today?
They are single file coming off turn number 4. Green flag is out. Sylvester again, not as quick on the restart. Hirschman by an advantage of 2 car lengths. Then it is Zegedy in the 3rd spot. Here comes the red. He runs in the tire tracks of Zegedy.
And Christopher is right there, crowding Ruggiero for the number 4 spot.
Christopher goes to the inside. The white flag is out, but there's no surrendering. 5 cars, nose to tail. Christopher pulls out of line. Hirschman still in command, down to turn 3.
And the gap between him and Sylvester is widening. They round the 4th turn. Here comes Tony Hirschman.
Sylvester reels him back in, but it's Hirschman at the line. Sylvester in for 2nd. Zegedy for the 3rd spot. Great run for the Reg. And Ted Christopher has to settle for position number 5.
Tony Hirschman suffered through an early spin and came back to win.
And what an event it has been here this afternoon. 202 circuits now showing on the Dodge Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. But there is no question about it, defending series champion Tony Hirschman is heading to CarQuest victory lane. Zach Sylvester is 2 for 2 at finishing 2nd. And what about Todd Zegedy? A great run for him in the Mike Bowler race car to finish in the 3rd spot. And no one who is present here will forget the run of Reggie Ruggiero. Let's go to Andy Crane.
Well, Tony Hirschman has pulled his 48 car to CarQuest victory lane and shuts the Camco Supply Company car off. So he will now etch his name in history books as a winner of the CarQuest Spring Sizzler. The congratulations from his crew right now is just sitting, taking it all in right now, unbuckling the helmet. Taking a look at these tires real quick. Remember, Hirschman pitted well before lap 100. Has a couple of chunks out of the right rear, but for the most part, just like the last set of tires that came off, tires were looking pretty good for Tony Hirschman. As the last time we went racing here at Stafford with the Tour, Tony Hirschman ended up in victory lane in the fall final, but never in his illustrious racing career has he sat here in CarQuest victory lane for the Spring Sizzler. Tony adjusting the CarQuest hat right now, still has the head sock on, one of the safety devices. Wheel coming off for Hirschman now. He's going to take a big drink of Village Spring water as he climbs on out of the Camco Supply Company car number 48. The wreath going on Tony Hirschman right now. Tony Hirschman. Good job. You're doing a good job, buddy. Getting the congratulations from Zach Silvestri. Tony, you can now call yourself a winner in the Spring Sizzler. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been coming here a long time to this race, and we had a good run here last year, and we just got beat near the end. And we had a decent car today. In the beginning there was just a little bit too loose. I tried getting going for 2nd place early in the race, and I got chopped down on and spun, and we come back up into the top 10. You guys did a great job on a pit stop, tightening the car up, made a few adjustments, and car just come in, and later in the race their track took rubber and it come in real good. I was worried, and them other guys pitted, with like 75 to go, but they said we were driving away from them. So car's been awesome here. I mean, we had a great year here last year, and I hope we can continue this year.
Tire wear seemed to be a factor during the 200-lap event, but we're looking at the right rear tire. Really, on both pit stops, the tires really held up for you.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we had an awesome run going too. We led, and I decided not to come in for tires, and it bit us at the end. We run out of tires with 15 to go. So we knew we couldn't go the whole distance here, so we had to come in and get some tires. And car just hooked up then later on, and we were gone. It was fun. Sylvester was real strong there, and then I know Zegedy was coming into 3, but we were just on cruise.
Well, second place last year, first this year. What makes you so good here at Stafford?
I don't know. I struggled here so many years, and we come up with a nice combination setup. We're going to have to tune on it a little bit because these tires this year, it's not quite as good on. We got a few adjustments to make it a little bit better, but we're close.
Well, you have one happy crew behind you. I'm going to let you start celebrating. Congratulations, Tony.
Thanks, really appreciate it. Thanks all the fans for coming out today. It didn't look good this morning, but thanks for coming out and seeing us.
Tony Hirschman, the 2005 winner of the CarQuest Spring Sizzler.
All right, thank you very much, Andy Crane. Now down with our second place finisher. The man in finish in front of him has his 4th career victory at this track, but this young man almost picked up his first. Andy?
Well, Zach Sylvester having a couple drinks of Village Springs water, but I'll tell you what, 2 for 2, second last week, second here at Stafford. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, the TAS Country Home Chevrolet was just incredible today. We didn't start off that great, but we knew, it was a long race, and we had tested here before, and we knew we could end up with a halfway decent car. We just played our cards right.
Now, was it deja vu all over again, as back in Thompson you had a green-white checkered finish, right here at Stafford in the mix again, and another green-white checkered finish?
I know, I just can't seem to get away from them. Sometimes they help me, sometimes they hurt me. No, it was tough. We were really good on cold tires. Tony drove a great race. He's a real good veteran, and they're tough to beat. So we tried to hang in there best we could and see what we had for them at the end, and this is where we ended.
Well, 2 second-place finishes, great way to get the season started. I'm sure it's not too long before we see you in victory lane with this Whelen Modified Tour.
No, I don't think so. It's coming shortly.
There we go. Zach Sylvester, another runner-up finish for the Whelen Modified Series Tour.
Brought the nice weather up from North Carolina with him, filling in this week for Eric Beers. Of course, the 3 car is something that this young man has had to battle every time he's come to Stafford Motor Speedway to try to contend for his wins, but now he finds himself piloting that ride. Andy Crane down with a 3rd place finisher.
Todd Zegedy filling in for Eric Beers, right in the mix all race long, ended up bringing Old Blue number 3 home in the 3rd place position.
First thing I'd like to thank is God. I mean, he blessed me with some of the moves I do and some of the accidents I avoid, and he's by my side. I also got to thank John Lucas Savage, Mike Bowler, and everybody. The whole team is awesome. They do a great job, and car was great. I mean, I think it's my fault I didn't win today. I drove too hard coming up through the pack and burnt it up a little bit. And I think if we got a good 10 laps under the car, it would come back on again. But I just didn't have quite enough to get up off the corner the last 10 laps. Earlier, it would have been another story.
Tire wear seemed to be a factor up and down pit road. Was it the same thing with you guys?
I don't think so. We had great tire wear. Not that I know of. I don't think we had any ring. I saw every guy that was in front of me had a big ring around the right rear, and everybody was getting loose. And I just was real easy on the throttle coming up off straight, and I think that makes a big difference when you're getting up on the throttle real easy. I mean, it's going to help you at the end.
Well, you definitely filled in for Eric Beers very well, coming back home to Stafford, and we'll hopefully see you every Sunday down south, as well as now you're down with Robert Yates Racing, and hopefully some test sessions coming up for you very soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm just going to work hard and move on. You got to take chances in your life, and I'm taking a chance, and I think I always have a home here with the Modifieds.
Todd Zegedy coming back, not forgetting how to wheel one of these Modifieds around Stafford, bringing Old Blue into 3rd place finish. Let's go back upstairs.
Down the backstretch on the pace lap. Hey, this time let's give them a big wave. Wave your hats, your programs, whatever you got to send them off. the NEMA Midgets set for their 2005 season. Give them a big wave and a Stafford Motor Speedway welcome, as they have been looking forward to this race, not only the opening race, but a return here to Jackaroot Stafford Motor Speedway. And the first race of 2005, they are anxious to get going. 30 laps, and they click them off pretty fast.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's going to be 30 laps, but not 30 minutes by any chance. Any shake.
Some of the cars to watch, that 17 of Ben Seitz, the defending champion. Joey Payne in Gene Angelillo's number 45. And the number 35 of Randy Cabral. Randy was second in the points in 2004. He was in the hunt for the championship all the way through the season. Cabral will be moving into the Seymour's number 29 later in the season, but out in the Cabral family entry number 35, and his father, Glenn Cabral, in the number 36. Steve Dumas is on the flag stand, looking them over, the NEMA Midgets to go 30 laps. Green is out. Down into turn one, Bernasiglio opens up a comfortable lead, even though he pushes up in the middle of the turn. Bernasiglio in the 50, Adam Cantor runs second, and here comes the Jersey Jet. Joey Payne down underneath Cantor in the 45, Payne right to second. Ben Seitz runs fourth, and don't count out Mark Bonomo in the number 48. Fast in the Bertrand entry number 48 is already, they start to string it out down the backstretch.
You watch the different styles going into the corners. A lot of the drivers will drive real hard and let the car drift up a little bit. The 50 car seems to go in midsection of the turn and stay the line, not to move up at all.
And this time, the 45 of Joey Payne pushes up in the middle of the turn, and he's got Ben Seitz, the defending champion of the NEMA Midgets, right there. Seitz on the back bumper as they both have their sights set on Bernasiglio, the leader in the number 50. Payne is right there. Ben Seitz in the 17. Mark Bonomo in the 48, and Adam Cantor in the 7 New York.
Move around the outside from position doesn't work.
Seitz kind of dirt tracking it there out of the fourth turn in the number 17. Just can't get enough to get underneath Joey Payne. Meanwhile, Payne all over Bernasiglio, trying to take that lead away. This time around, they will have completed 5 laps already. Blistering speeds around the Stafford Motor Speedway for the NEMA Midgets, and a 4-car race for the lead. Bernasiglio in the 50, and look at Mark Bonomo in hard, slides up the racetrack and almost took Joey Payne with him. Bonomo is a hard charger. Here comes Seitz in the 17. Payne knows he's got to go if he's going to get the lead. He goes to the outside of Bernasiglio, but Bernasiglio holds him off in the 50. Payne on the outside of the 45. Mark Bonomo tries to make the move and gets sideways in the middle of the turn, gathers it back up. That's Bonomo, third in the number 48. Now he goes to the outside of Bernasiglio. Bonomo goes to second. Bernasiglio quickly shuffled back to third. Ben Seitz in the 17, and a good run for Adam Cantor out of Dix Hills, New York in the 7 New York. He currently runs in the 5th spot.
And he has been making moves inside and outside, trying to set up for the pass, but he can't seem to carry the speed all the way through. But now, just as I say that, he gets a great ride coming off of turn number 4.
He's able to make a move on Bernasiglio as Bernasiglio gets a little wiggle in the middle of the turn, and the early leader is quickly shuffled back to the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Joey Payne out in front. Bonomo seems to gain on him at the end of the straightaway. They are starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Joey Payne out in front. Mark Bonomo is second. Ben Seitz in the 17 is third. Adam Cantor fourth in the 7 New York. Then it's Bernasiglio in the 50. Ed Grope in the number 44.
Let me ask you this question. As the cars go into the corners close, either side by side or right behind each other, can one of the cars lift the air off the other's wing and cause it to drift up?
Well, I don't know that they're so set up for any kind of drafting like that, but certainly one little bump can get somebody out of shape enough to make the pass, as Mark Bonomo has just done to the 45 of Joey Payne. Bonomo, the new leader, and he goes Mark Bonomo hard into the wall in turn 1. Mark Bonomo trying to make the pass on the number 11 of Lee Bundy, a lap car. Bonomo almost over completely and into the wall hard in turn 1. Red flag. The race is stopped.
He appeared to catch a wheel as he was ready to set up to go into the corner, and it spun the wheel to the right, causing the car to turn. And when it did, it just lifted up on 2 wheels. But miraculously, when it touched the wall, it came back down on all 4 wheels. And let's hope that all the safety equipment on these NEMA Midgets have done exactly what they're designed to do.
He took a hard lick there as he went into the wall sideways. And just as you described, Tony, he got into the wheel of Lee Bundy, who he was trying to put down a lap.
Why don't we go back and watch that all over again? If you watch the Diamond Vision, you can see exactly what's going to transpire. Here, it's coming up right now.
As Bonomo makes his way off the 4th turn and down, and just that, and hard into that wall. That's a hard lick as he went to make the pass and caught the right rear tire of Lee Bundy's.
I think the enthusiasm because of the performance of these guys is bringing the crowds back, and we're probably going to see them at more racetracks.
Well, they put on some great racing, and this is an example of it, although I don't think we're going to get a green flag on that start. It seemed to be just a little too quick as they were on the gas a little too soon for the restart, a little too soon for starter Steve Dumas. And Andy Schlatt has spun around in the number 22 on that start. Andy stopped down here in the infield, and Steve Dumas points to the point where the restarts will happen, and that is pretty much that first light pole coming out of the 4th turn is where the restarts are to occur. And Joey Payne knows he's got some stiff competition right alongside him. Payne in the 45 has the defending champion, Ben Seitz, and Joey Payne wanted to get on the hammer early, try and get back out in front to keep Seitz from getting the run on the outside. So we did not get a start that time, and that's kind of a break for Andy Schlatt because he can get back out there and rejoin the rear of the field in the number 22.
Well, Andy's probably got the shortest toe of anybody here. He lives right here in Enfield, which is just down the road. Some of these teams have got a drive ahead of them when they head home.
Well, Joey Payne, of course, back to New Jersey. Noki Finoro, who did not make the race today in Don Barrios' number 2. Finoro out of Pennsylvania. Fernasiglio back to Ron Conkham of New York. Combination of short rides and long hauls for these guys after this event, but we're set to go green once again. This time the green flag is out, and it's a drag race between Ben Seitz in the 17 and the 45 of Joey Payne. Seitz with good bite off the 2nd turn and down the backstretch takes that lead away. That's what Joey Payne was worried about when he tried to get the jump on the restart the first time around. So now Payne is back to 2nd. Adam Cantor is 3rd. Randy Cabral is up to 4th in the 35. Pete Fernasiglio 5th in the number 50. Then it's Ed Rowe in the 44. And a good run for the 37 of Shane Hammond out there as well as they come around to complete 12 laps out of the 30-lap NEMA Midget main event.
Well, Cantor seems to be closing up the gap as we got a smoker coming off the racetrack heading into the pits, but he has to choose his position. You watch as he goes into the corner. He wants the specific spot to be on when he takes that 7X for the pass, but he definitely has the power.
Tough break for the 7X of Steve Dietz out of East Granby, Connecticut. A lot of smoke off that car, and here's hoping that he didn't blow an engine, but maybe broke an oil line or something. He is retired for the afternoon, as is some of the other entries, including Mike Ordway in the number 99, Mike Legell in the 77, and the 15 of Brian Dolan all down there. Caution is out for a spin over in the 2nd turn. That is the number 3 of Tommy Spada. Tommy out of Berlin, Connecticut, the Legell Spada Racing entry. Spins out of turn 2, and we've got another caution with 14 laps complete, just shy of the halfway mark for the inaugural event for the NEMA Midgets in 2005. The NEMA Midgets brought to you by the Wurtgen Group. It's set to go 13 complete. 13 laps complete out of the 30-lap feature. Green is out.
So once again, Seitz jumps into the lead. A great start, and he's also starting to put some distance on the competitors in 2nd and 3rd position.
I'll tell you, car owner Pete Valeri certainly does his homework with that number 17 of Ben Seitz, as they were the class of the field in 2004, enough so to take the championship, of course. And Joey Payne, second in the 45, and a good run. We keep mentioning Adam Cantor in the 7 New York. He had an off season last year, looking to capitalize on some good runs in 2005 as they get the cross flags halfway through the NEMA feature.
Well, Cantor doesn't seem to be able to close the gap like he did just a little bit ago, but he is faster coming out of the corners, but he does not appear to be able to capitalize on it, setting up going into the corners as they come out of turn number 4.
Adam Cantor will be happy to come home with a third place finish here today, no doubt, after a disappointing season in 2004. And those three have really pulled away from the rest of the field. Randy Cabral, we thought was going to be right there at the end, is quite a ways back in the 4th spot in that number 35. We mentioned that Randy Cabral will be moving into the Seymour Racing Enterprises number 29 later in the season. Could be as soon as the next event. And the Cabral family cars, the 35 and the 36, will remain with the field. Glenn Cabral, the father of Randy, to drive sometimes, and also other drivers getting behind the wheel of their midgets. Ed Bro in the number 44. He runs in the 5th spot. And Pete Pernissiglio, the pole sitter, all the way back now to 6th in the number 50.
19 laps completed of 30. So we're moving down to the magic number 10. And there's still a good battle going on for second spot as a pass is in the works.
And Adam Cantor got a heck of a run out of turn 2 to move underneath Joey Payne. Adam Cantor pours it on as they head out of turn 4 and across the stripe. He's got that second spot, but Payne immediately right back down to the inside.
Oh, what a great move.
Unbelievable crisscross in the middle of the first and second turn, and the caution is out. With 20 complete, we've only got 10 to go with the NEMA feature now. Ben Seitz and Adam Cantor up front. Green is out. Cantor got a good start, but so did Joey Payne, who's trying to come back and take the second spot away. Payne gets underneath Cantor, and he goes to second.
What a great move by Cantor. He was just sliding along there and just found the wedge between those two drivers.
So Payne goes to second. He finds himself between a couple of the young lions of the NEMA series as Ben Seitz just pours it on and opens up a comfortable lead on the backstretch. Joey Payne trying to catch him, and let's see if Adam Cantor used up all he had earlier the last time he made those passes on Joey Payne. The 35 of Randy Cabral runs by himself there in the 4th spot. And then the number 12 of Kyle Carpenter.
Oh, we got a spin coming down the back straightaway. Two cars got together. Everybody stays upright as they lock up the binders and slide up to the barrier.
Looks like the 3M, talked about Jim Miller in the 3M. And the number 55 up there as well. Mike Keeler set to go back to green with 22 laps complete in the NEMA main event. Green is out. Ben Seitz is back to the lead in the number 17. Joey Payne running in the 2nd spot. That number 45, then Adam Cantor still 3rd in the 7 New York. Here's Payne with a move on the inside. Side by side for the lead.
Payne with a determined drive going down, and but Seitz has got the motor as he comes out of turn 2 and gains 2 car lengths in a heartbeat.
Might have just taken a couple of laps for the heat to get back in the tires of that number 17 to handle just the way he likes it, because now he starts to pull away from the 45 of Joey Payne, and Adam Cantor starts to close on him. Cantor would like to get back up into that 2nd spot. Randy Cabral runs 3rd in the 35, then the number 12 of Kyle Carpenter runs in the 5th spot, and the 44 of Ed Bro is 6th. Pete Pernissiglio up to 7th in the number 50 with just 5 laps left. We got a race now for the 2nd spot on the backstretch. This is Adam Cantor again in the number 7. Cantor coming after the 45 of Joey Payne with just 4 laps to go.
Payne knows he's there. Cantor has the ability to close, but he's not able to follow all the way through. But this time he's there closer and longer going into turn number 3, but not able to maintain his forward progress.
Payne knows to slam that door shut going into the turn. This is veteran driver, the Jersey Jet, Joey Payne in the 45, and the young Adam Cantor in the number 7, as Payne uses all the experience to use as much of the racetrack as he can to hold him off. 2 laps to go this time. Ben Seitz out front by himself. Now the 45 of Joey Payne has put a couple of car lengths over Adam Cantor. As Cantor continues to run third, Randy Cabral, Kyle Carpenter, and Ed Rowe. The white flag, just 1 to go. He's the first winner of 2005. Ben Seitz finishes first. The 45 of Joey Payne is second. Adam Cantor third in the number 7. Randy Cabral fourth in the 35. Kyle Carpenter fifth in the number 12. Ed Rowe sixth in the 44. Then it's Pete Pernasiglio in the number 50 and Shane Hammond in the number 37. That's the way they run race number 1 of the 53rd season for the NEMA Midgets. And Ben Seitz shows them how to get it done in the Cape Cod Aggregates number 17. He takes it to victory lane.
And we'll be going down to victory lane in just a moment.
Again, Joey Payne, though he didn't win it, he's got to be happy with a second place finish. And Adam Cantor really looking strong today in that 7 New York. Adam Cantor brings his car down onto pit road, as does Joey Payne. They also will join Ben Seitz down there in victory lane. And after we had a scary crash early in the race with Mark Bonomo piling into that first turn wall, and even though rather shaky, walked away from it, and we were happy to see that. And as you mentioned, Tony, kind of lends to the safety that they put into these race cars.
Exactly. Well, Andy Crane waits for Ben Seitz to get out of his car, and he's got most of the safety gear off, and we're going to throw it down to victory lane. Andy?
Ben out of the race car. I'll tell you what, kicking off 2005, pretty much how 2004 went for you, as you were the NEMA champion last year. You open up the NEMA season this year with a win here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, this is a heck of a way to start the season out. I'd like to thank my crew, my car owner, Pete Valeri. He put the good car under me this year. We worked real hard. We didn't sit on our hands this winter. I have to thank my sponsor, Cape Cod Aggregates. The motor was incredible. I have to thank Working and Helping Hands, and also Stafford Motor Speedway. We've been wanting to come to the Spring Sizzler forever, and all of us are very excited to be here.
I was going to ask you, you had the Jersey Jet behind you, and he made a couple of runs at you, but it just looked like car 17 just had some motor down the straightaways.
In the beginning part of the race, I wasn't that good, but just something happened with a stagger, and it just hooked up towards the end. And, you know, Joey's a class guy, and so is Adam Cantor, but, you know, luckily we came out on top. Next week it'll be all different.
Well, coming off a championship, you know you're the man to beat coming into 2005, but you showed you're still the man coming to victory lane here on CarQuest Spring Sizzler Weekend.
Thank you very much.